Hey, what is going on, folks? It's JG from, auburnsports.com. You probably know that because you have been on the show and you have watched the show and you have drained the brain with me before. Welcome to the show, September 5th in the year of 2020, Derby Day. First time in my life they've had a Derby that wasn't in May, and I watched it, and I would have made money on that race, but not a lot, because I thought Tiz the Law was the clear winner, which did not happen, and I would have thought that Authentic would have been a horse that I would have had in my exacta box. So, along with AP, or Honor AP, who finished fourth. Almost would have gotten a trifecta on that one. And I know Charles Goldberg from the Gold Mine would have been very, very proud of me. Very, very proud of me. What's going on, fellers and gals? If you're out there, we've got a lot of our absolute Mad Lad Hall of Famers. Who gave me a thumbs down? How dare you? A lot of our Hall of Famers in the house. The list is just unbelievable. Melee, AU Taxman, Cleveland Brown, dad of 3 girls. Glad to have you here, sir. Leif B, stud. Absolutely. Ravine is in the house. Drinking that old tub that he hadn't actually had yet, but he's got it. He's got it in his grasp. Canoe Man in the his. Stu Pup, of course. We've got our first super chat of the night already coming in from Crocosile. He says, this is good stuff. Thank you, Crocosile. Hey, and while you're here on the stream, Croc, please remind folks, I rely on you and AU Storm 20 to remind everyone to give me the thumbs up, because thumbs ups are fun. I don't know if it really matters, but it's fun. And whoever gave me the thumbs down has since rescinded it, so it has been expunged from the record, thank goodness. You guys are the best, man. Pocket Watch in the house as well. Patrick P. in the house as well. Let's see. Pocket Watch says, Commodore, I have a humble request for you. At your leisure, please put together a beginning bourbon guide that can turn into whatever you like, but will contain a list of recommended cheap bourbons. Thank you for the thumbs up, guys. That is wonderful. I will come up with that. We've got a few guys on the board. AU Taxman's no slouch when it comes to bourbon. And Masters, also on the board, knows a ton about it. So maybe I'll kind of get with them. There's a few other folks. I mean, Archie obviously knows his stuff. Maybe we'll just kind of talk it out and try to put that together, like the official bunker bourbon, beginner bourbon guide or whatever, because I think that, there's folks out there just kind of getting into it a little bit. And, folks like me, I've drank quite a bit. I know a lot about it, but there's people who know more. Just kind of get you started. I wish I'd had somebody like that, so I wouldn't have spent so much of my life drinking Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark's a fine bourbon. It is not something you want to spend the rest of your life drinking neat, because there's better stuff than that for neat drinking. I'm just saying that. All right, let's get to our main page tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. And here we are. Hey, Pooch. Hold on. Pooch, that's from last week, but we still love you, Pooch. Crocosile jumped in. Nope. That's still left over from the Jeep hits. Thank you very much, Crocosile, for that, sir. This is good stuff. No, you're good stuff, bro. You're doing a great job out there. Thanks for the hard work. AU Held says, got a handle of Buffalo Trace for $40 and 3 bottles of Eagle Rare for $30 each. Deal with it, man. That's what they go for if you can find them. It's just that you got to find them. And that ain't easy. Particularly a handle of Buffalo Trace. There was a rumor like a week or two ago at my local ABC store, which is the East Chase store in East Montgomery, that there were handles of Buffalo Trace. I went to fetch one, and I didn't get it. But I did get a 5th, and I'm glad to have it. I did not see an Eagle Rare. But Eagle Rare is, as you guys know, to me, is the best value in bourbon. It's absolutely delicious. $30 for that bottle is just insanity. It's a 10-year product. And it's not crappy. It's delicious. I mean, it's just wonderful. Our second super chat is in. First of all, Crocosile, thank you for getting us started off so quickly. You're an absolute badass, as you know. I told you this many, many times. And Stu Pup, who's like Old Faithful around here. I wonder why our chat hasn't populated yet. I'm sure we'll get there at some point. Stu Pup jumps in. I'm sunburned. My golf swing has gone to complete crap, but at least I get to drain my brain for a little while. We're glad to have you, sir. Let's see why our chat box would not be filling up. We'll work on that. I'm sure it'll come through at some point. It was a little slow last week, as I recall. Oh, AU Held picked up his stash, the handle of Buffalo Trace and the double Eagle Rare in New Orleans, which is where I actually got my Eagle Rare. I had a friend here in town, Chris H., who hooked me up with a double bottle from NOLA when he was there. Golly, it's probably been 3 or 4 months ago. Anyway, it's always great to have folks around you who are out and about and who are bourbon heads and who know what to look for and are willing to mule a bottle or two back for you. Canoe Man says Eagle Rare is, well, rare. Easily the best value out there. Love Buffalo Trace Distillery. Buffalo Trace, you've got to say they're on top of their game right now. I mean, think about all the delicious stuff they have under their purview, which would be Buffalo Trace, Blanton's, Eagle Rare, Colonel Taylor, all the Wellers. What am I missing? I feel like there's something else I'm missing. Everything I have listed at that point is delicious. So anyway, I'm glad to see our chat boxes pop back with an orange name tags on everybody. That's exactly the way that we like it around here. Tonight, our bourbon is going to be this one right here, Elijah Craig's Small Batch Barrel Proof. I have said before I don't like them particularly hot, but this one is pretty damn hot, at least from a percentage of alcohol. 63.6% alcohol, which makes it 127.2 proof. This is batch B520. Now, the way you read that is they do it by batches. A batch, then this is the B batch. 5 is the month, and the last 2 numbers are the year. So this was the batch that they put into this. They bottled this in May of 20. And it is now reaching my lips on this show via a new friend I made today named Grant, who made it possible for me to have this bottle today. Again, Elijah Craig, that is a Heaven Hill product, which is located in Bardstown, just a little hop, skip, and a jump off the Bluegrass Parkway, and near other distillers, including Willett and the Bardstown Bourbon Company. Also, Lux Row is right in that area, and our friends at 1792 are right in that area as well. Elmer T. Lee Ravine notes. Elmer T. Lee is so difficult to find that I don't even consider it. But yes, I've only had that one time. I've sipped it, and it was delicious. Melee says Eagle Rare, very available all the time at my store. It's good stuff. Just wish the bottle was not 2 feet tall. It looks like a wine bottle, which to me is a little bit of a turnoff. But I mean, it's cool. Whatever. I'm in it for the deliciousness. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I'm in it for. Anyway, I'm looking forward to drinking this. I had some of this before and remember it being hot, but not like scalding the way that Larceny barrel proof was. It damn near killed me. So today we're going to pour this into our Derby. This is our mint julep glass from the 2019 Derby 145. This was given to me by my friend Jason Morgan, who lives in Crestwood, Kentucky. A college friend of mine. He's also married to a girl, Emily, who is a sorority sister with my wife and also a field hockey player with my wife. So big fans of the Morgans. And, of course, he gave me this. So we're going to pour this and see what's going on. Ravine says, let's get Ole Miss drunk. Well, this is certainly the bottle to do it. I don't know if I want to do that tonight, but we're going to pour this bad boy in here and see what's going on. There are things to talk about Auburn-wise, though. I mean, we're going to sit here and drink the heck out of this bourbon. Let's see what this happens. Okay, it's hot, but it's not like super hot. Golly, that's kind of sweet. It's definitely sweeter than an AU Taxman I know is a big Elijah Craig fan. It's sweeter than the normal stuff. I don't say that in a bad way. Ed D jumps in with a score update. Arkansas State 7, Memphis 0. And also, I believe the Southern Methodist Mustangs pulled out a win earlier. They were winning. And on defense, former Auburn Tiger, my man from Charles Henderson High School, I should say graduate of Charles Henderson High School, Richard McBride, is playing there, and we love Richard McBride. I know a lot of you guys probably don't know him because he didn't play very much at Auburn, but he's one of those that I did know because when he was being recruited, he was in Troy, and that's relatively close to where I live. So my daughter and I went down there a few times to cover him, and also when they would play Pike County, the principal at Pike County is a guy I used to cover in minor league baseball, a guy named Trey. Back in the day, Trey Wright. Other people knew him as Willie Wright, but I know him as Trey, and his brother Wesley Wright is an Auburn fan. That's a family from Grady, Alabama. He is now a scout, I believe, with the Minnesota Twins. So bottoms up, guys. AU Texman, I might actually put, this is a very unusual thing for me to say. I might put just a little bit of water in this bad boy and just see, that was too much. And just see if that maybe evens it out a little bit for me. I'm not a fan of putting water in bourbon, but it just hits hard. I mean, I knew what I was getting into, 127 proof. I mean, I didn't think it was going to be soft. I wasn't ready for that, even though I knew it was that. Yeah. All right, so that's what I'm drinking tonight. See, Elijah Craig 12-year was such a deal for so long, then they removed the age statement. This is basically the replacement for that product. Yeah. ETL absurdly priced on the secondary market. Good, but not a 200 bourbon. Yeah, I don't. Is there a $200 bourbon? I mean, I know there are bourbons that cost $200, but for me, I don't understand why anybody would pay $200 for bourbon, even the Pappy. It's just that, I had someone tell me this bottle right here, this Knob Creek 15-year. It's the Auburn Final Four bottle. I had somebody tell me the other day he thought I could get $900 for this. Minimum $650. That's crazy to me. I mean, I wouldn't want to open it. And I want to give a big thank you to my friend Buddy for making that possible for me to get that. Didn't think it was going to be something like that. Pocket Watch notes that Grady, Alabama, I mentioned earlier, that's Wesley Wright and Trey Wright's hometown, is also Richard Scrushy's ancestral home. I did not know that. How about that? We learn new things all the time. Richard Scrushy, a fine, upstanding gentleman. No trouble in his background, guys. All right, let's go to the headline page. These are the things that happened this week that we know about, that we can talk about. Practices obviously are closed. There's essentially nobody in there except for the coaches, players, and managers. So getting information about things that are going on in practice is, I mean, it's tough during a normal situation, but in this situation, it's damn near impossible. At least intel that I feel comfortable talking to y'all about. I can just pull shit out of my ass, I guess. The big news this week is that Connis Miller, a story you read here first at auburnsports.com, which is kind of a team effort. We were working on that story. Connis Miller was dismissed from the team on Wednesday. He got into an altercation. First of all, thank you, Sterling, for the super chat, sir. I'll get back to that when we get to the front page again, and it's very much appreciated, sir. Connis got into it with an assistant coach at practice on Tuesday, and things kind of went downhill from there for him. He was asked to leave practice, and the head coach the next day decided that he needed to go. So that was the end of the story for Connis Miller at Auburn. He was going to be a junior this season, defensive tackle, and a player that I thought, at least among our staff here at auburnsports.com, a lot of different ideas about him, a lot of disparate ideas about what he was going to do and what he could do. Oh, Ed D, sorry, I forgot about the air horn, bro. My bad, totally. Let me turn that up just a little bit. I don't want to blow out your ears. That one right there is for Crocodile, Sterling, and Stu Pup. Thank you, guys. So with Connis gone, that's a bad thing. Now, I was not all in on Connis at all. I was kind of the opinion of I'll believe it when I see it. Is exactly how I saw it with him. And sorry, I got to move over here a little bit. what you see is what you get with Connis. I thought that he had a lot of potential. Obviously, Coach Dye thought a lot of Connis and had told me, 2 years ago, that kid was going to be a really, really good football player. And I tend to believe the things that Pat Dye told me about players. But he kind of fought an uphill battle in that the argument with him always was his motor, right? Does he play or practice hard? Is he emotionally invested in every snap? Because, that's the difference between, in my opinion, a regular player and a player like Marlon or a player like Derek, because they just have that emotional investment and they have this insatiable desire to affect the game every single snap, right? You can't always do it, but you can do a lot more than you think you can if you're a defensive lineman and you play super, super high motor, which you can't play with a higher motor than Marlon, who we saw many times during his career, like running down wideouts and tight ends and tailbacks from behind because that were going away from him because he just was indefatigable, and Derek was the same way. Connis, not as much. Connis, he had a lot of the tools that you need to be really, really good inside. I thought he had that. He had size. He had quickness. He had an explosion. And I thought he had a good idea of how to attack. I thought he could give you, he could hold a gap, and he could also pressure the quarterback from inside, which is a great thing to have. The problem is that he just didn't fight every single snap, and it drove Rodney crazy. If you're going to play for Rodney Garner, Rodney likes to talk about straining. He wants to see his players strain all the time. And that's something that Connis didn't do naturally. It was a struggle for him. Now, I say all that. It has nothing to do with the fact that he mouthed off at an assistant coach. That has nothing to do with motor. I think he just got frustrated. And in a moment of frustration, he did something he shouldn't have done. So he gone. We'll get more into that and how that affects the depth chart. We talked last week and the week before that we thought they had a lot of depth at defensive tackle, and they still do. I still think that they are at least 5 deep there, even without Connis. And I do think losing Connis hurts because I think he had some real ability. I didn't think Jay Lee was on the mark. Jay Lee thought that Connis was going to be outstanding, and I was like, yeah, I think he'll be solid. But, hell, at this point, solid. I mean, you play him. The team practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Friday was not a particularly rough one. They were getting ready for the scrimmage that occurred today. They did some, I call very light workouts before the scrimmage. Then they did some kickoff return and kickoff cover. They did some punt return, punt cover, and then they went for a 90-play. I think what Gus described that as an old school scrimmage where, a offense goes out there, one group, and a defense goes out there, one group, and they just go at it until somebody's got either somebody scores or somebody punts. And they going at it. It's not situational. It's just let's play ball. Let's play ball. And I think that's the kind of scrimmage they got to have right now. They didn't get to have any of that in the spring. And Kevin Steele on the defensive side, Chad Morris on the offensive side, and hell, all the other assistants need to see what they've got in some of these younger guys. I mean, people know what they got in Owen, and people know what they got in Bo Nix, and you know what you got in Shivers, but, some of the other guys, whether you're talking about Wesley Steiner, you're talking about Desmond Tisdale. Desmond Tisdale. Excuse me. Thank you. Eric Reed, whoever. Jeremiah, right tackle. Lots of those young guys. You just need to see how they can handle it. Can they acclimate? So the quarterbacks went live today except for Nick. So that means Lord Cord. That means Grant Loy. And that means Kalen Newton. And Garnett, I imagine, was in there as well. I did not see photographic evidence of that, but I have no reason to believe that he didn't. We do know there's 16 players out of practice this week, though. So who knows? They've been very quiet about who that is. And honestly, it's just not something I want to get into. I mean, it's just, it's not worth it. Malzahn, the good news, so we had 16 players out last week, whether they tested positive or they were in quarantine protocol because they were in close contact with someone who did test positive. 16 players out. That's a lot. The good news is that this week it was 0. They tested twice. They tested on Sunday and Thursdays. I think they're testing right now. And so that's back-to-back zeros, and that's great. So that's definitely a step in the right direction. I don't want to get into a fight about positive tests and quarantines and all that stuff because it just gets political and nasty so fast. And Auburn but just finished its 10th workout today. The scrimmage was the 10th, so they have 15 remaining for the last 3 weeks, which, they're going to be on target. They're still fine. So they haven't fallen behind or anything like that. So that's the headlines for the week at Auburn. And again, it is kind of quiet because we got a few interviews on Thursday, I believe. We talked to Nick Brahms. We talked to Ty Truesdell. It seems like there was a third player. I've forgotten who it was. Oh, it was Flash. And then Gus today after the scrimmage. And Gus spent a lot of time talking to us. So we got a lot of questions, a lot of answers to a lot of questions. Let's take a look at this defensive depth chart. And I have put Connis there in red because he's kind of out of the picture now. So at this point, you're looking at Ty Truesdell at one defensive tackle. I happen to believe that Dre Butler is going to be the other tackle. I still have Daquan Newkirk over there, and he's been fine. He's been good. I think that I have not heard any criticisms of him at all in this practice period. And I believe Dre Butler missed some time with COVID situation. He's fine now. Has been fine lately. I don't know if that set him back significantly or not, but I don't think it did. So that's who you're looking at there. Ty and Dre Butler, Daquan Newkirk. Marquise Burks is another JUCO kid that they brought in, and then Jay Hardy from Chattanooga, Tennessee. You're thinking, true freshman. Geez, doubt it. Jay Hardy, pretty big dude now. He is not some soft little dude, wimpy guy that can't throw some bodies around. Jay Hardy's a big human being. But more in the house. Thank you. It's awesome to see you here, brother. One of our friends from Rebel Grove, along with Leif. So thank you for stopping by, bro. Also representing the East Coast. No doubt, no doubt. I don't really have any changes to make to this one. I mean, I think this one's pretty well set. I can see it. If there was anything I would see changing here, it would be Domio over Pritchett. But I still think Pritchett's going to play a lot. So it's, obviously if Domio starts, then we would flip it. But Pritchett is, he's a real player. And so this is pretty much the way I see it right now. Particularly with Chandler Wooten out, no longer on the depth chart because he's opted out, and Josh Marsh, who would probably be the backup over here with McLean. He'd be fighting with McLean for backup time behind Owen. Let's see. Canoeman says Hardy is from McCallie. Solid program in school. I've not been there. Glad to hear that. Easterwood has logged on. Welcome, sir. Webmore says, sorry I missed y'all. No. You stop by any time. It's always home for you, brother. So not much changing over here. Again, Connis out. I still think they have pretty good depth in there, assuming that Marquise Burks can play and what you're going to get out of Jay Hardy. But, as Gus was saying today, Rodney likes to run 10 deep here at along his front. And, Derek Hall's super legit. TD's pretty legit. Big Cat's super legit. Handy's super legit. Newkirk's legit. Truesdell's legit. Butler's legit. I have every reason to believe Marquise Burks is legit. So, he's got dudes. Colby Wooden. Somebody over there, whether it's Caleb Johnson or Colby Wooden, is going to be good. And, Zeke Walker's got a chance. Romello, maybe as a third down guy this year. Romello Height. So, there's just a lot of dudes over here. And, a lot of credit to Kevin and all the guys over there who have worked with him and recruited their asses off. Rodney, too. Al Pogue, too. Travis Williams, too. And the dude who left for Florida State, Marcus Woodson, did a hell of a job. Did a really, really good job. On the offensive side of the ball, I haven't really made any changes since last week. I still think Brandon Council is going to be a starter somewhere. Nick Brahms seemed to kind of indicate that. He didn't say, Brandon's going to start. He was just noting that Brandon had been working first team at tackle guard and played a little bit of center just to see if he could, that he could do it in an emergency. But that just sounds like somebody that's going to be out there playing a lot. Troxell's been playing pretty well. I've gotten good reports on Alec Jackson as well. Obviously, Broderius is a guy. To me, he's the most solid guy they've got up there. Nick Brahms is probably the second most solid guy they've got up there. And Council, was solid at Akron. I just don't know if he's going to be the guy that pushes people around. Tayshawn, same thing. I don't know. And if I had to pick it right now, honestly, I would probably say that Grant Loy is the number 2 quarterback. I know that Gus said today that Loy took more snaps than Cord did. Now, they know more about Cord as well, so it would make sense that they would want to see more data about Grant Loy over Cord, because Cord's played in games. But I just get this feeling like he's going to end up being the backup. I don't know why. Nobody's told me that. Gus certainly wouldn't say that at this point in camp, but that's just how I see it. DJ, we saw, and if you watched the video today of the pre-scrimmage stuff, there was a little bit of footage on there of Tank in the 4 shirt. He wasn't really carrying the ball for real. He was just taking some snaps from, I think it was Grant. Eric O in the house. What up, Eric? Glad to have you, bro. It's Gators. Glad to have you, sir. Gators from the board and the main board. Speaking of that, well, I'll talk about that when I get back to the full screen. So not much changing here. Also of note, Gus said today that Malcolm Johnson, you can see him over here as the 3rd choice at the 2 spot, the flanker spot. He did confirm that he's in school, everything's fine. He's going to start practicing this week for real. So, we'll see kind of how he fits in. I mean, it's going to be a minute, but he's a true freshman, and I think that he's extremely fast. He's like in the flash range. I'm not saying, because in some ways, I think we've kind of overhyped how fast Flash is. I mean, he's fast, but it's like, oh, he's going to win the Olympics. And it's like, that hadn't happened yet. But he is extremely fast for a football player, and I think Malcolm Johnson is as well. We need to get back to our main page here because we got some super chats that I need to get to. Sterling, thank you very much for that, sir. Right before I switched off. Thank you very much for that, sir. It says, is Auburn going to look ill-prepared game 1, a.k.a. typical Gus? That would be typical Gus because it seems like it always takes him 3 games to figure stuff out. But keep in mind that hasn't been the way it's been for Chad in the past. Chad hasn't had that problem as a coordinator. When he was at Clemson, he did not need 3 or 4 games to figure shit out. So I am optimistic that they will not be that same kind of going into the season with a certain idea and not being willing to change it until you're a month in. I do think Chad has a ton of autonomy right now. I really believe it. Now, if things get bad, that's when I start wondering, is Gus going to overrule him? But I just don't see it, man. The guy's been a head coach in the SEC. I don't even think that Gus has those kinds of balls. Coming in from Web M. Sorry I have to make this so small to fit it in, but that's how. Web, first of all, our friend from Rebel Grove and also an East Coaster. Could you speak about 2 things? One, how bad will the Big Ten Pac-12 look if the SEC finishes the entire season? Oh, yeah. Huge problem that they're having there. Do you think it puts them back 10 years? I don't know about that. It definitely sets them back. It's going to set them back financially. I know the Big Ten's been trying to get going again. I don't think it's going to work. I think it's too late now to get going, and they're still talking about the spring, and I think that's bullshit. I don't think that's going to happen. So they're in trouble. I don't even think the Pac-12 is even trying. But it's weird out there. I don't really know what to say about the Pac-12. I don't know shit about it. But Big Ten, I know something about that. And they made a bad decision. They got some bad intel. They thought the SEC and the Big 12 and the ACC were going to jump in on them. Didn't happen, and now they're kind of stuck by themselves, and it's a real mess. Just set them back a decade. I mean, I don't think so. I think about a team like Ohio State or Wisconsin. I mean, they're still going to be good, Yeah, Brad E says Utah just laid off their AD and coaches. That one hurt me. I've got a friend on the Utah staff, and I'll just leave it at that. It sucks. Really, really sucks. Let's see. So I addressed that as best I could. Also, could you please have a call-in show for G-Pits? It's a must. Let me see if I can figure that out. Well, we switched over this new platform. I just got G-Pits going to where we can have the 3. This last show we did on Monday, I think, was the first one where we had all 3 videos going at once. So I'm just kind of taking it one at a time. But Webb, you are the man. Thank you very much, Sterling, as well. You guys are the best, seriously. Oh, we just got a text in from Jay Lee. Let's see what Jay Lee has to say here. We love it when Jay Lee texts in. Oh, we can get him tonight. Webb, thanks so much for your support, brother. Yeah, I'm sorry. Brad East is furloughed. That's what I know what you meant. Like they're getting their pay cut. I mean, they're not playing. Sterling says, forgot Wesley Steiner and Shedrick Jackson on the depth chart. Yeah, I didn't really forget them. I don't really know where they fit in. Wesley Steiner on the defensive side is probably going to be your third. I guess your third. He would have been 4th choice at outside linebacker if Josh Marsh was still here. I just don't. The only guy who will be playing more than anybody on here would be Malcolm Askew. That would be it. Because I don't think Malcolm Askew is going to play unless they're up 50 or down 50. The other guy, Cam Brown, I don't know if he'll play much this year. And Daniel Foster Allen, I don't know either. But I think everybody else has a shot. But I didn't really forget him. I just don't. I guess Shedrick. I guess he would be the third option at 9. I still think Kobe Hudson's going to be ahead of him. I don't think Shedrick brings you a lot except for blocking. Or he hasn't to this point. He's still got time, obviously. And he certainly has the background athletically. We got a super chat in from Eric O., also known as Gators. Glad to have you, sir. Thank you for your support. And if you didn't have a question, I was going to jump in. It would have been my pleasure. If you have another question, I'd be happy to answer that for you, brother. Also, AU Taxman jumps in. My man. Is that the dude from I Can't Believe It's Not a Law Firm? Oh, God. Lionel Hutz? Is that who that is? I believe that's who that is. Says teams not playing this season in the rankings. If we are including teams not playing in the NCAA, why not just throw a few NFL teams in as well? I was baffled when the AP poll included like 10 teams that aren't playing, including Oregon, Ohio State. They had Ohio State in the top 5. I'm like, it might as well be Holland Hall High School, where I went to high school. Might as well. Hell. They're about as likely to play some college football as Ohio State this year. AU Taxman says, yes, sir. Lionel Hutz, the man. By the way, my high school, we won our big game this past weekend. The Holland Hall Dutchmen over the Cassia Hall Commandos, a bunch of turds. 49-0, by the way. I played in that game one time. I was not a good high school football player. I played center, and I was terrible. Truly, truly bad. But I was a good baseball player. Pocket Watch says that tells you all you need to know about the AP poll. Listen, man, as a writer and as someone who has voted in it before, I don't want to shit on it too much, but facts are facts. There's absolutely no reason to have a team in there that is not going to be playing. That's just so stupid. I don't even know what to say. And the argument you always hear from these reporters, like the year that Auburn in 2004 had difficulty getting into a chance to play for a natty, even though they should have, is because they started low in the season. And they said, well, it's based off of last year, but then it's not based off of last year because last year doesn't matter. Bullshit. It does matter. And this is proof that it did the whole time. All this crying about Auburn, whoa, it didn't matter. It did matter. Anyway. Thank you, AU Taxman. You're an absolute badass. Stoop up with another one. Damn. Stoop Up's the most he's like old faithful. Always comes through, man. G-Pits is cool, but it's no brain drain. Well, yeah, I will say this about it's a different vibe, right? First of all, this is just like me babbling. We get our awesome guys from the site on here, and then you guys call in, and we all just kind of hang out and talk. And it's all, to me, it's kind of like almost like a fraternity. Just kind of, we got our own little catchphrases and things we like to laugh about and joke about. And G-Pits is different because you don't have that same feeling because it's such a wide variety of folks. It's like some of the Auburn sports people, the ones that don't hate Neil, and then it's the Rebel Grove people, the ones who don't hate me, and you probably get some of the Power Mizzou folks. But Gabe is maybe somebody that not everybody clicks with or whatever, so it's just a different dynamic totally. I happen to love Gabe. I think he's one of the funniest dudes that I know, but it's kind of a dry sense of humor. I don't know if everybody gets it. All right, Gator says, here's my question. Was the OL the group with COVID last week? I'm not getting into that. I don't want to do that. Don't feel comfortable talking about that. I'm going to be honest with you, AU Taxman. So I've had approximately 2 ounces of this, Elijah Craig, and I feel it. Like, I can't believe it. I mean, it is 127 proof. Data 3 Girls says, I was a center in high school, too. Was second team All-State. Wow, lamp, guys. Oh, let's give him a little bit of a lamp right there. He says he was not that good, I promise. Well, I know you in real life, and you're not a big dude. Although you may have been a lot stronger when you were younger. I mean, I know you're going for, fitness now. I get it. Yeah, sorry, Eric. I don't want to get into that. I was a truly terrible football player. I mean, I wanted to be good, but I was terrible, man. I'm just not made out. I'm just not made for football. Award number 50, and the best. I mean, at my at my peak, I was third team. I started the JV team. Me and my friend Devin. Devin was the quarterback, and that was as good as it ever got. That's as close as I got to a start. It was when I was starting on JV. And we would play in all the little towns outside of Tulsa, like Inola or Jay or Henrietta. We go play those places. Muskogee. Generally get our ass beat, but that's okay. D Lucky says, note to self, call early. JGT ain't making it at 10:30. No, you might be wrong on that, D Lucky, because as I told administrative assistant earlier, I'm not going to be drinking this stuff a whole lot because, I mean, I'm not stupid. This stuff is delicious, but it's hot. So I just can't be banging this like I do the other stuff. You just can't do it. I am going to put a little bit of water in here. This is something I never do, guys. But, I mean, we got to be real. You just got to be real out here. Canoe Man says, not sure he makes it to 8:30. I feel like I can definitely make 8:30, bro. Oh, man. Oh, my man, Buddy's jumping in here. Me and Buddy talk about horse racing a lot. Wow. He bet Authentic to win the Kentucky Derby in March. He made like a future bet. It's pretty impressive. Very impressive. We got another super chat. WebM again. Jumping in again. My goodness. It says this from Maddie. Thank you. She's actually here. She's, well, not here, but she's quarantining here at the house. Which I think ends tomorrow. It ends tomorrow, Monday. But it's nice to have her home, although I've spent no time with her. I mean, it's like she's in the house, and I'm FaceTiming with her. He says, this is from Maddie. Thoughts on Tubbs becoming a senator? Also, JG, you coming up to the AU game? If so, I'm going. Okay, got to run. Love y'all show. Hotty Toddy and War Eagle. Webmore, appreciate you, bro. Not going to be going to the Auburn game. No. Because I don't think we can go, really. I think they'll probably give us one reporter that can go if we choose to go at all. And since all the interviews are going to be over Zoom, I don't see an advantage to going yet. But if that changes, we'll consider that. As far as Tubb becoming a senator, me and Goldberg, years and years ago, like hell, probably as long ago as 99 or 2000, used to joke with him about, you need to be a politician. And he was like, no, 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 no. And he was he was kind of an up and coming football coach at that time. But he had those skills, He had the networking ability. He had the ability to talk to different kinds of people in different kinds of ways to kind of get through to them. And those are the things that an effective politician does. And I also thought, unlike most coaches, he had a really keen ability to understand things beyond day-to-day football. He understood how I fit into the brand. This is long before we did the whole ride for the brand shit, that Auburn's got all these people that are like video strategists and people who promulgate the message and all that kind of, like Austin Penny and those guys who do an incredible, Josh Wetzel, Matt, Big Daddy, who all are very involved in Auburn's, I guess, social reputation and all that kind of stuff. Like, Tubb was thinking about that stuff 20 years ago. Not social media per se, but just kind of how is my program perceived and what can I do to improve it. So those are the kinds of things that I think great politicians do too. So I think he's going to be a success as far as that goes, and I'm pulling for him. And I would say that about anybody who's going to be our senator. That would include Doug Jones too. I mean, our state has some issues, and I am pulling for every senator and every congressperson we have to help us get better. That's all I'm saying about that. I mean, Martha Roby, feel the same way. Mo Brooks, same way. We just need to get better. We need to keep getting better, and if those folks can keep helping us get better, then I'm happy. I think we should all be happy. So that's my short answer, Webb. Or long answer, depending on how you want to look at that. Yeah. Wonder Gump, who I believe was on a podcast recently. I don't know. That was the rumor I heard. Says he's gone from Pine Box to the jungle to the swamp. That's good, man. You're a pretty funny guy. It's almost like you should have been in the newspaper business at some point in your life. Canoe Man says Tubbs dominated AOL Instant Messenger for Auburn back in '99. Yeah, he would log into Prodigy and he would just control that, yo. Anyway. All right, what do I want to ask Jay Lee today? I'm going to bounce this back. We love Webb more, and thank you for your 2 super chats, bro. I'm going to bounce it back because it's just so damn big. Go back to Stoop Up here. Appreciate you, Stoop Up. 2 of them. Melee says 2004 AU Media Guide was epic. I might have that. No, I don't have it right here with me. I have it over there, though. I have this. This is the one that I go to. This is the... Can you believe they actually gave this to us in paper form? Because Miss Kathy kicks ass, but the Media Almanac. So this is like the actual paper, because I'm still old school, I like paper. It's like all the records and all the, the 2002 season, how many games were on TV, and who the leading receiver was, and all that crap. It's awesome. I probably dive into this about every other day. I'm trying to see if I had anything else here I can show you guys. No, that's it. I've got other stuff, just not here. Hey, Taxman says, Tubbs used to post as Munzir. I don't know if you guys saw it on the board, though. Happy birthday today. Happy heavenly birthday, I should say, to Dee Dee Trudeau. You may know her on the board as Dee Trudeau, who passed away a few years ago, but she is definitely missed. And I comment to somebody probably once every week, or maybe every other week, that we at the bunker would be in better shape if Dee was still here, because she was so good at like not picking sides but de-escalating arguments. And she would often do this through the use of cat gifs. It's beautiful. She always had never the same one twice either. Like, she had this endless supply of funny animal gifs, mostly cats. And she would just interject them. and like immediately diffuse situations. She is so missed, so missed, and we miss Dee Dee. I know a bunch of people jumping into that thread earlier, just kind of giving it a thumbs up and having nice things to say about Dee. But I got to say, I mean, because back when she was sick, she died of cancer, and back when she was sick, she we at the bunker raised a ton of money for her to travel to and from her treatments in Houston and Duke. She went to both places, and the bunker was just insanely generous. Like beyond, I mean, when we started raising money for that, and I think Jay Walker was the man doing it, or coordinating that effort. I was thinking we would get, the biggest number I would have thought was $10,000. If we had hit that, I'd have been like, holy cow. I think we got to $50,000. And to get her, to Houston and to Durham and back home, and it is. I spent the last week not on the bunker very much, just because I needed a break from it. It was just so toxic, and I was tired of fighting people over stuff. And then you think about Dee Dee, and I mean, she was like the antithesis of that. And she would have been the person that would have messaged me and been like, JG, we love you, and I know it's a bitch, and I know it's hard to deal with these people, but here's how I deal with it. I just think about how these are good people that are just kind of getting carried away in the bunker, and she was that kind of person. And to be fair, I had some folks message me this week too that said similar things, and I mean, hell, a lot of you guys, D Lucky, one of them I remember for sure, talking about it last week on last week's show, knowing that I was going to take the next week off. You guys are great. And I got some really nice messages this week as well. I don't really want to say who it's from, though, but because I don't know, some of them are tough guys, and I don't think they would want to be the ones to. Oh, Sir Hiss was one who called in last week and was talking about it. Some of the tough guys don't want to be that guy. They're like, hey, I sent a nice, encouraging message to JG, so I'll just be quiet about it. Yeah. It was a good week for me, though. I mean, I did learn that toxicity does get to me. The only bummer about it was today I had to deal with it again. I had a member that actually we had two members that got into it on the board, and then one member said that I was showing favoritism to the other guy because I hadn't taken down a slanderous post against him quickly enough for his satisfaction. And then he threatened legal action against rivals. And it's just like, the guy who was saying that, he had done stuff that was just as bad as the other guy. It's like spy versus spy, but, the bottom line in spy versus spy is neither spy goes and narcs out the other guy to the cops, They just kind of go on. If the black spy or the white spy, you guys know Spy versus Spy from Mad Magazine, if they had gone to the cops, I don't know if they'd have had any standing because they're both always, stabbing the other guy in the back. I don't know. It pissed me off. And then that guy started getting on my case, saying that I'm a, unfair moderator and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, you're not even mad at me. I didn't say anything to you. I wasn't even involved with this. All right, I'm thinking about getting Jay Lee on the horn because if we don't catch him early, he goes to bed, and then we don't get him at all. Also, if you guys remember, we had young Nate King set up for the show last week, and then we didn't get him. We called him repeatedly, and he didn't get through. He apologized for that later. We had him on the rundown on Tuesday. We talked to him and razzed him about getting married and all that stuff. But I was hoping to get him on the horn today as well. So let's see if we can get Sir. Don't you do that? I want right there. Yeah, you guys don't hear the ringing anymore. But that's just part of it. We can simulate it. I don't remember AU Texman. I don't remember Spy versus Spy being an actual game. That would have been fun, though, I think. Hello?
Hey, Mike.
Is this Jeffrey Lee?
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, I got a dirty joke. Don't put me on the air yet.
Oh, it's too late now, bro.
Ah! I'm just kidding.
How you doing, brother?
Fantastic, bro. How's the show?
It's going well. We've had a bunch of wonderful super chats, and everybody's been clamoring to talk to you. And so here you are, and here we are.
Must be a bunch of women on the show tonight.
Hey, now. I don't know. We talked about this on the rundown, but Nate stood me up last week. I don't know how you feel about that. No comment on that?
I mean, he just didn't answer?
Yeah, 3 times I called him. He didn't answer.
Was he on his honeymoon?
He'd been back, but I guess he was still kind of weary and bleary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, whatever.
Did you see the Derby, the Kentucky Derby today?
Oh. No, I didn't. What happened?
Well, a horse ran and won.
Was it fast?
Hell yeah. It was I think it was the 3rd or 4th fastest Derby ever. What do you think will be a really good time in the Derby?
How far do they run?
They run 1.25 miles. No, they run
Mile and a quarter. Let's see, I run 1.25 miles in about, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes?
Yeah.
I mean, I used to run like a 7 or 8 minute mile, I think. So I'm going to say that's me at my fastest.
Okay.
So I'd say 10 minutes for 1.25 miles. So for these horses, I'm going to say 2 minutes and 21 seconds.
That would be a remarkably slow one. Today it was almost 2 minutes flat.
Yeah. Wow.
They're really rolling, brother.
I mean, that's a pretty good guess, though.
No, it was.
How about you, Raven?
Look at that. Look at you. You're watching the stream. Nice.
Yeah.
That's Ravine to you and me, bro.
Oh, Ravine?
How about you?
That's Raven. That's Raven up here in Randolph County.
Well, he's a badass. Is that where you're located?
Yeah, man. I had to come up here and check on my folks.
Understood. You know, a lot of people don't know, Jay Lee, that you were in the newspaper business.
Yes.
Yeah.
I started. I loved it.
Well, you were in it as recently as like 6-7 years ago, too.
Correct.
I wish you would have covered my daughter.
Yeah.
You would have written a good story. She never got any good stories written about her.
That's unfortunate.
It is. If she had played at Hiwassee Dam, she probably would have gotten a good story written about her.
Oh, man. Hiwassee, the girls at Hiwassee Dam, and I'm not talking about feminine. I'm talking about their athletic. They were very good, Hiwassee Dam, in softball and in volleyball. I don't think they kicked the ball up there.
No, I doubt it.
But, yeah, the Hiwassee Dam girls athletics programs in 2014 were very good.
Yeah.
So was Murphy football. Won the state championships the year I covered them.
Yeah, in Asheville. Is that right?
Asheville. Yep. Traveled all the way to Asheville, North Carolina.
Word.
That's kind of like the Legion Field of Alabama. Everybody can come. You know how it used to be, the Super Six, whatever.
Yeah.
In North Carolina, they do it in Asheville. Very cool. Very cool.
As far as recruiting, do you have anything to add since Tuesday? I know it's kind of slow right now.
It has, high school football is in the second week. Some guys are just now starting this weekend. Corona. Auburn obviously is getting into the swing of things. They scrimmaged today?
Yes, sir. 90 plays.
So, this is about typical, about the time things will slow down. Now, some 2022 guys picked up some offers this week and talked to a 4-star offensive tackle from IMG, originally from Alpharetta, Danny Shore. Got a lot of Auburn connections. He's one of those guys. He's 117 in the Rivals 250, really heavily recruited and very high on Auburn. He doesn't mention any top schools, but I had a really good conversation with him earlier this week and put a lot of my conversation in the story, but a lot of just the off-the-cuff stuff between him and I could tell that he's a guy that I would be, if I'm an Auburn fan, he's a guy I think Auburn should get. I would be disappointed if I were an Auburn fan and Auburn didn't get this guy. I think he's a guy that Auburn needs to get. if you read the story, you saw how knowledgeable he is about the Auburn offensive line. He named guys by first name. He said, I know Jack's leaving, Prince is leaving, Caleb Kim's leaving. They're all gone now. And so he knew a lot of Markel Harrell's, he knew all the guys that left by first name, and has a relationship with Caleb Kim, and now he's had a good chance to meet and start a bond with Coach Bick. And Chad Morris has started recruiting him. T-Will recruited him when he was at Alpharetta. So he knows a lot of these guys, coaches, former players, and guys on the team now. So a lot of connections. His father went to Auburn. Grandfather played at Auburn, basketball at Auburn. So just a lot of things working in Auburn's favor for him. And he's, he would be the highest rated offensive tackle out of high school Auburn signed in a long time. So he's definitely a guy I would put on the high priority list, especially at that position where we know the bunker loves offensive tackles, and as they should.
Yeah.
So he's Dane Shore. Write him down.
Noted. We love kids that have that know Auburn, that have a relationship with Auburn, so to speak. That's always a good thing.
Yeah, I didn't get into specifics as far as like what was your favorite team growing up. Oh, I know. He also played with Xavier Capers at Denmark in Alpharetta, and Aaron McLaughlin, who was committed to Auburn before Chad Morris got here.
Yeah.
Quarterback, who's now committed to NC State. Which was Xavier actually retweeted him the other day about some Auburn stuff. So a lot working. His favorite kid, and even going 2022, another guy, the running back from Geneva County, Emmanuel Henderson. You got to think Auburn's probably the team to be for him as well. He's a 4-star running back, very talented kid. Jim Bob Strickland, you remember Jim Bob?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, Jim Bob he was at Wadley when I was at the Randolph Leader. He coached Terrell Zachary, Terrence Wilkes, Stanley Allen, those guys, and now is the head coach at Geneva County. Was my flag football quarterback when I started the Randolph County Flag Football League.
No kidding.
So good buddy of mine. Yeah, good buddy of mine, and now the head coach at Geneva County. They're 2-0. Manuel, obviously a top for all. And I kind of, we saw L.J. Johnson, the kid from Texas, earlier this week come out with the top 4. Auburn was not in it. Auburn did not make the cut. So you've got Armani Goodwin at running back right now. That's really a good gauge on it. Might be where Auburn says, hey, we've got Emmanuel Henderson in 2022. So maybe they don't push for a second running back in this class and instead, focus their spots for next year.
Yeah.
Got a lot of 2022 guys starting to kind of, and it's been kind of fun because we've had with the lack of 21 visits, this class of 21, visiting every other day, to kind of put more focus on and is what Auburn and the early jump on that 2020 is going to start coming in more because already 21 classes are starting to fill up.
Word. The good news is that we love having you on the show. The bad news is you're starting to break up, bro. I think you're out in the sticks a little bit, so we may have to. We may have to say goodbye, man. We were losing you there pretty much the whole way through that second part, so it's sad.
Dude, I was killing it, man.
No, you were. I know. I could tell you were. Well, you had that intense speaking about you.
Yeah.
That's when you're talking and you feel like you're in a role, but we're having a hard time hearing you.
My apologies. Hey, I'll be ready next week.
Hey, be ready Tuesday, all right?
Sounds good, man.
All right, we'll see you, bro. Bye.
Later.
There he goes. I guess he's out in the sticks near Wadawi or Headland or up that way, Randolph County. So we're going to have to cut him off. We lost BMAT the other day. What was it, 2 weeks ago now? But the thing about BMAT's in Auburn, like he's just right where all the people live. Jaylee out in the where his parents live in the rural section of Eastern Alabama. Talking a little bit about Armani Goodwin earlier. D.D. Davis from Houston. Some good players there. I did switch Phillip O'Brien. I had him listed as a cornerback, and I know better than that. He's going to be a safety at Auburn. And Pocket Watch, I'm sorry if I missed you earlier on the question about Roanoke or Wadley or whatever. Sorry, bro. He was breaking up, you know. Jeff C. in the house. We haven't seen Jeff at least consistently since basketball season, but we love you. I've watched you and your family streams. About every other one pops up. Jump in and listen to you guys play. It's good stuff. Jay Lee says, my cell service got the Rona. My apologies, folks. Yo. There he is, Jay Lee, actually in the chat today. Oops, didn't mean to do that. But it is a good time to remind you, 3 weeks away, Kentucky Wildcats inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. I have that as TBA, but it is not a TBA game. That's going to be an early game. And I can't fix that right away live here, but believe me when I tell you, it's going to be the early game on the 26th. Hopefully it's a beautiful day like it was today. You know, it bums me out because today was supposed to be the first game, and it was a beautiful day here in central Alabama. Not a cloud in the sky for most of the day, and it wasn't super hot, and it was just lovely. Just the best. Deserved to be a football Saturday, and it wasn't. Looks like, did Junior Powerman jump in? Yes. Little Powerman's in the house. Love having Little Powerman in the house. Or Big Powerman, which is cool. Ravine says, I hope you're wearing a mask, Jeffrey Lee, with his phone getting a corona. That's funny. Cockasile says he's speaking to us from the spiritual realm. Okay. Let's see if we can get Sir Nate King on. He told me earlier that he was having some trouble with his phone, which I'm not sure I believe that. But he did say that he had missed some calls from his wife, which I strongly believe that you should. We have a call coming in, and I bet I know who this is from. I'm going to take this call because I think I know who it is. Welcome, caller. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
What are you doing, Jay?
Word, is this Power Man?
That's Power Man.
I knew it was you, bro.
I know.
It's awesome
what
to
you
have
been up to?
Well,
I just got on. What's everybody talking about?
Yeah, we had Power Man Jr. Jumping in the chat, and he was talking about playing some tennis with you earlier, and so, you know, I feel like we're all caught up now.
Yeah. What's the mood like on the drain tonight?
Good, man. Loose. We're drinking some very high proof whiskey and just kind of hanging out, talking about, you know, this season's only 3 weeks away, man.
Yep. I've gotten a little nervous, Jay. I've been super optimistic lately, and it's not about COVID. It's about the product, because to me there are 4 participants in a college football game. There are the 2 teams, there's the referees, and there's the crowd. You remove any one of them, and it's a problem. So I'm a little nervous about what it's going to look like.
Just as far as how good it's going to be?
Yeah, I mean, like, in the intensity level, and like, does the Alabama kicker kick it off? Like, does he kick it off the post last year if there's no crowd in the stands?
Oh,
or
listen to that.
Does the kick six happen? You know, just the intensity level that is created by the crowd, who is a participant in the game.
Fair. I think it gives underdogs, or maybe even visiting teams, which would usually be an underdog, an advantage that they don't normally have. I think you're right.
Kentucky at 11 a.m. and an empty Jordan-Hare is terrifying.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I mean, because they're going to get some Bo Nix right in there. Kisser.
Yeah, I am. I do think Bo is going to take a step forward, and I'm super excited about that. I'm excited about it coming back. I'm a little nervous because today I thought I would watch these games regardless of who was playing, but I haven't. I've been, I'll turn on the U.S. Open or something like that, but I hadn't watched this stuff today.
I think it'll be fine. If it affects the quality of play, it's going to be because nobody had a spring. But, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I agree with
15 practices, and Auburn's been really going at it here these last 2 or 3 weeks, and I think everybody else is too. So I think you can make a lot of that up.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I think that
it'll be fine.
I think the defenses will be ahead of schedule compared to the offenses.
Agreed.
Hey, what's the scuttlebutt on the Georgia kid that opted out? Like, do you know any of the guys on the dog bench? Like, why did he do that?
Yeah. I've not asked. I definitely know people who would know the answer to that, but I'm going to be honest with you, Power Man. Like, I just don't give a shit about Georgia, so I don't ask those questions. I probably should. I mean, I probably should, but I don't.
I care, but only because it hurt them in this.
No, I get it.
So that's
no hating on you, none. I'm that's probably a shot at myself, but I just don't care enough.
No, I understand.
But I think they're going to be okay. And I also want to say, and you and I have been leading the way on the skepticism of, is Gus going to let Chad do his work? And I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm talking to some people who would know, he has completely left Chad to do his own thing, which to me is a very encouraging sign.
Figgy and I have had some emotional arguments about, and right, he thinks that he's going to allow it to happen, and I don't. So that is fantastic news, and I hope I'm wrong.
I know. We've been skeptical, and we may end up having a little bit of egg on our face, but the truth is that we both want Chad to do it because we think Chad's going to be better than Gus.
Yeah, I'll eat all that crow, and I'll have the second plate too. Somebody put on the bunker there was one of Chad's proteges threw the tight end like 9 times. His tight end had 9 receptions in one of the games. Maybe it was a Thursday night game. Can't remember who it was. Anyway, but if Auburn comes out throwing to a tight end, it for the first time since I guess Uzama, that would it'll hopefully just open the field up.
You got to think. I mean,
to be able to threaten the middle again.
Yes, and Schwartz has been talking about that he thinks this is all just changing everything up, and it's going to give the wideouts a lot more opportunity to move because they're going to have to worry about tight ends now that they didn't have to before. And all the players, you can kind of, when we ask them about Chad, you can tell they're like, yeah, he's pretty good, man. and
yeah.
I think they don't want to say he's better than Gus because they don't. This is not something you would say. But
yeah, we love Coach, but new Coach is great. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think that's good news, and I really believe Gus has left him to do his own thing. So
good.
All the better,
good.
Man. All the better.
Yeah.
Did you have a good week, bro?
I did. Working hard. Doing a lot of this COVID stuff with the testing. Spent quite a bit of time in Tuscaloosa.
Ooh.
So, yeah, I'll when I get more info, I'll share it.
I will say there's a lot of people in quarantine at South Alabama who are not sick. I know that for a fact. So that's all I can speak about.
Yes. Yeah. How are they being treated? How's quarantine working for them?
Fine. I mean, my daughter's she actually came back because she didn't see any advantage to being there at the time. Yeah. She's going to go back. Her quarantine's up on either tomorrow or Monday, and she's going to go back. But it's fine.
My niece is a freshman at Alabama, and she actually caught it. So she was home, and she's fine now, and she's back at the school, but back on campus. But she was confirmed positive and had a fever for a day or two, and then it became kind of an annoying cold type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, my daughter's like 12 days into it now. I mean, she didn't have it. She was in close contact with someone who did have it,
right.
And I think we can now.
So she got 14 days. If you're positive, you only get 10.
I know. That's right. So she's at day 12, and even now she's in the house, but I haven't really hung out with her at all. So we're still keeping our distance just to make sure. I do hang out with my mom a lot, who's 78 or 80. So right. I don't want to get it and then give it to her without even knowing.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. All right, man. Well, we'll be listening.
Man,
Little Power Man will be looking for Alpha Tiger here in a little bit, I'm sure.
Well, thank you so much for calling, and you're one of our great callers, Power Man, and it's very much appreciated, bro.
Well, I appreciate the show, and I appreciate all that you do for the bunker and the info that you and the guys provide and the community that you foster. So we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. See you, man.
Bye-bye. Bye.
There he is, Power Man. He's definitely a first ballot brain drain Hall of Famer. Who else would be a first ballot brain drain Hall of Famer? You know, Ruxy Poo would. You know that. Canoe Man would. D Lucky, no doubt about it. Stoop Up, no doubt about it. Ravine, no doubt about it. AU Taxman, no doubt about it. Pocket Watch. These are the pillars, man, that keep it up. Crocodile. When he's here, you never fear. He's not always here, but when he is, you know it. You can feel it in your blood. Pocket Watch says Power Man is actually good people. I would agree. Having met him in person. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Doing good. How's it going, Jay?
Good. Who I got on the horn here?
Bo is great.
Hey, what up, bro?
How are you, man?
I'm going to actually list you here on the screen as Boise. No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I appreciate it. All love.
First of
Up
all,
here in the Great White
I want to
North.
say a big 5-5 KA to you, brother.
Hey, you rock, brother. 5-5.
Fellow Pi Kappa Alpha member right here, Bo is great. And
Yes.
also father of Auburn. I don't want to go into too much detail here, but father of Auburn athlete. We'll just leave it at that. Is that fair?
Yes. Former COVID Auburn athlete.
He's former COVID haver,
Yes.
but okay now.
Yes. Okay now.
Did he have any symptoms?
7 days of, about 2 days. He had the flu for 2 days,
All right.
but that's pretty much the extent of it. But he's doing good. Thanks for asking.
That's great. That's
The,
great to know, bro.
Interesting, the cardiovascular procedure or protocol you go through after those 10 days is even more interesting, that we have to spend those days worrying about a minor issue with EKGs and stress tests and whatnot. So, but it's all part of the deal, I guess.
So when he was confirmed positive, they did a lot of follow-up like scans on him and stuff?
No, just you check in every day with one of the team physicians,
Okay.
and then and they're pretty lax about if you're going somewhere. You have to call in though, and then they start this cardiovascular procedure afterwards.
Okay. So they're keeping a real close eye
It's
out
gonna be
for
up
him.
17. Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, that's great. Auburn
Yeah.
endeavors to go above and beyond what they have to do for this stuff. So I'm glad to hear that that's
Yes.
that's what's actually going on.
Yes.
I
I did confirm it was not from Skybar. It was from a lady friend, but
Oh,
So-
snap. Well, it happens.
Typhoid Mary
I know, man.
will get you every time.
Every
time.
Back in my day, it wasn't COVID. It didn't go away in a couple of days, you know?
Actually, had a roommate, another pipe brother of ours, that creeped down the hall one morning saying, "Hey, I got to go to the doctor,"
Oh.
and it was something else from a young lady. It was interesting.
Was he
And
itchy?
he loves that I keep reminding him of that.
Was he
anytime
itchy?
I see him. Oh yes.
Uh,
Little penicillin goes a long way. I
Oh,
guess.
yeah. The gift that keeps on giving, bro.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Anything? Connus Miller getting kicked off the team this week. Do you think you're somebody who likes defensive linemen in general? You see a lot of value there. Is this going to be something you think that hurts Auburn?
Yes, I do. I think he could contribute, and in that position, a kid like that's he'll go hard one play, and then may take 3 plays off. So you put him in for that one play. You get productivity out of him, and that's the value of switching these guys in and out so much, and having a deep defensive line. I think it hurts that he's gone, to be honest with you.
It does hurt. I mean,
He could do really well for a player too.
I think it hurts. I think
He
he's
could
got.
go longer than that.
I mean, he's got a big ceiling. I think he's going to be a player, but you cannot go on a practice field and mouth off at a coach. They all know that, and they don't do it.
Now, I'll watch Big Cat his freshman year just pop back to Rodney on something, just give him the, "Hey, I'm about tired of you." And it was like the floodgates opened. I mean, I it was funny, but I did feel sorry for the kid. I mean,
Yeah.
it was brutal. And that's Rodney's style. I mean, he's, you're going to be mentally strong the whole and have that intensity the entire time you're out in the field, whether it's practice, scrimmage, game, whatever, you're going to do that. And they have fun when they're not. So it's not like Rodney's, this horrible person all the time. But
no, that's the thing.
It's tough. It's not for everyone.
Some people kind of see Rodney Garner as like this really mean guy. And on the field, he is, particularly early on in your career. But I think off the field, he's a different guy. And I think it just messes up some kids who are like, wait a minute, you were the guy that were just screaming at me, and now you're trying to treat me like you're my dad. But other kids like Derek, it never phases them,
What really always bothers me, if you listen to what he's saying, and they have people talk to these kids too, so it's not just like, hey, I'm yelling at you and you go off. There's people that interpret what the coach says to you, and he should hear that. I'm trying to get you to play a level that you can play in the NFL and be consistent. And sometimes some kids just want to be good enough, and it's not going to be a good position group for you at all.
No. There are some places you can get away with that, some positions maybe, but defensive lineman at Auburn is not one of them.
No. I would say most everybody in that defensive set is going to have a tough time right now with the assistant coaches we have.
It's interesting because Rodney, who is a very tough coach to play for, I think, at least initially, is generally very good at identifying the kids that can handle him and the kids who can't. And, Connus was always a fight for him. And there's been a few others, but –
yeah, and everybody has a bad day, and this just wasn't. I don't think everybody knows this wasn't his first bad day.
No, not at all. I mean, this might have been his worst bad day.
He's just one of those kids too. The football, he needs football more than football needs him right now.
He doesn't realize that yet.
No, but I mean, at that age, I don't know that I fully realized everything that was good for me or not. Either.
I know. People talk to him, and people try to explain this stuff to him. I know Derek Brown did last year. I mean, if Derek Brown's sitting there telling you this stuff, you'd think it would just sink in. But for some kids, it just takes a little bit longer. That's all. And it just time right out.
Sometimes it's easier when a Derek Brown is right there by you and getting the same crap you are. Sometimes it's easier for them to see that. But when you're the guy that's getting all the expectations, that's tough.
Is there somebody there on that line you think can pick up that slack? I mean, for me, I think it's Jay Hardy. I think he can jump in there and help. And then Marquise Burks is another kid, JUCO. I don't think gets talked about very much, but I think he can get in there and give you some good, let's say 20 snaps a game. He might be better than Connors.
I haven't seen Burks. It may be. Whatever we got out there is going to be the best we have. And I don't know that Miller was going to be out there on that starting group anyway.
No,
but I think he was going to come in at some point to help.
And the reason that he wasn't going to be starting was because of the problems that he's had, that he just doesn't give it every single snap,
And I get it. It is extreme for the people that have never played that. It is extremely difficult to go like that the whole time. A game's actually a little easier because you get the break between the snaps, you get the timeouts. They're running people in and out based on situations. But in a controlled scrimmage where they're doing the same play and the same thing over and over and over, it's monotonous. Your mind gets tired of it. You know what's about to happen. You know who's going to block you. You know this is probably not a play you're going to make a play on, but you got to go with that same intensity just to make. You're going to get Rodney. So, I think that he was a victim of that.
Was it tough for you? I don't want to get into too much detail about some of the cool things you do away from the, away from the spotlight. We'll leave it at that. But you and some of your friends provide a meal for the football players during camp. I think it's fair to say. I'm not giving away too much there.
Yeah, I hate that we're going to miss that. And there may be an opportunity later on to do something. But it's for them. It's not for us. So.
Yeah,
we'll be next year.
They're going to miss it. Those kids that know about it and remembered that, what you guys
did
for
really
them.
Like it.
Yeah, they do. They really liked it.
That's been going on since Coach Jordan's days, and Downs and those guys. Giving a shout out to my buddy. I can't remember his whole handle at Downs something. His grandfather started that, and it's been at it for a while, and he. Those kids that have been through that program remember that, and it's kind of a neat deal for everybody.
Yeah. It's common. Like you guys are almost like a pop star when you're around because those kids, those football players, just kind of come over there and they huddle around and hang out with you guys. It's pretty funny to watch. I mean, it's cool, but
It's a good environment.
yeah, everybody's
As I
so
always
happy.
say, talk to the walk-ons. They'll tell you everything you want to know.
Yeah. All right. So we're 3 weeks out. Are you starting to feel it at all? Like, can you feel like some anticipation building for the season?
Man, I got into high school football more than ever this year. And I've, just not having a son on the field for the first time in a while on a Friday night. It's been good to just go watch other teams and, I scout for a couple things. And so it's been good to be out and watch football from that perspective. And I'll get into it when it comes around. I think I'm just so nervous about that first game. I think it's a trap, and I'm very concerned about it. I'm trying to put it out of my line.
Yeah, Kentucky's definitely been playing better football lately, and I just don't know as though anybody's really overlooking them. I mean, I don't think if Auburn loses that game, it's not because they overlooked Kentucky.
No, it won't be an overlook. It'll be just a trap game. I think it's the time. It's the I don't know that we're going to be looking ahead a whole. Sure you'd have to look a little bit ahead as a player to that Georgia game, but I don't know. I've seen Kentucky beat us before, and it's not pretty.
Injured in hair, no less.
Yes.
On a very cold night in like 2009 or so.
Very cold with 3 kids up in my coat with me at the time.
Well, Bo, it's great. It's awesome having you call in, bro. I wish you would do it more often, but we understand you got things going on. I get it.
Well, man, I will. I need to have an alarm set so I can remember to do it.
Well, I've got a solution to that problem, bro.
Well, maybe I had the right amount of bourbon sent my way. It would entice me to.
We'll figure something out. Maybe I'll have to start texting you, get you reminded.
All right, brother. Hey, have a good one. Enjoy the show, man.
All right, Bo. See you, bro. There he is. Bo is great. You know him from the bunker. Some people think he's Boise. Boise great, but it's actually Bo is great. And he is a real good dude in real life and on the bunker. And he's one of those I've mentioned before. We talked earlier about Dee Trudeau and the incredible generosity of the bunker when she didn't ask for it, but she got it anyway. Financial support to go to her cancer treatments at MD Anderson in Houston and also at Duke Medical Center in Durham, North Carolina. The incredible generosity of the bunker to raise money for her to be able to do that. Bo is great, is one of a group of guys that does some things off the board that would blow you guys away with just how generous they are with their time, with their money, with their expertise, just helping folks. And he's one of them. Power Man's another one. You would never know it talking to him because he's the last guy on earth that ever wants to trumpet the things that he's doing off the board. But he does some incredible stuff for his community. And he has done some incredible stuff for folks on the bunker. Uh-oh, we got a call coming in. Christian, I do want to say what up. Glad to have you part of the show here, bro. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great, my friend.
Is this Deezer?
It is.
Yes, I got it right. What up, bro?
What's going on, JG?
Well, another beautiful, Saturday night. It was really pretty here in Central Alabama. Was it nice where you are?
It was pretty hot, but it was beautiful. It's always beautiful when you're, living that dream, right?
Of course, man. That's exactly right. And everybody is in awe of how you're so damn positive all the time. Because you've dealt with some stuff in your life that really would have left a lot of people broken and messed up, and you still see the positive and stuff, and you're an incredibly positive person on the bunker.
I can't see any other way to live life. You have 2 choices when you wake up in the morning. You're upset you got to go do something, or you're happy that you're alive. One or the other.
Damn, that's really – you're breaking it down in one sentence right there, man. Good stuff, man.
Well, it can be.
Spoken like a man who knows what he's talking about as far as that goes. What are your thoughts on this game? Let me ask you this. Let me rephrase that. 3 weeks to the first game, does it feel like it's getting closer to you at all? Because to me, I still feel like we're just totally out of it. I don't even feel like it's football season.
Well, you see a couple fringe games here that, I honestly haven't sat down and watched one of the smaller school games that have happened to this point, but it's definitely getting closer. But at the same time, it's also an intangible thing because it hasn't started yet.
Yeah. Just bums me out because today felt like a football Saturday to me here in Central Alabama. It just felt like it. The temperature was right. The sun was out. It made me sad that we didn't have any real Auburn football to watch. I mean, we had a scrimmage that we couldn't watch and blah, blah, blah. And we got SMU playing or whatever, but I don't care about that. I still just feel out of it, Deezer. I feel like it's not football season.
Yeah, we should have already have felt games, and subconsciously we're getting attacked by that direction as well as everything else that's going on, and explaining to our brains that we need to be watching football at this point, which we have not. But it's coming soon. They're definitely going to be putting something out there on the plate for us, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Word, how was your week? Anything fun going on?
Week's been great. It's actually been really great. No complaints whatsoever. Nothing exciting happening. I've been watching more than I normally would, and I'm a big Heat fan, so I'm happy for that because we're up 3-0 on the Bucks.
Oh yeah, that's a big one, man. I cannot believe that.
I don't think I've ever been more into the NBA than I am this year, just simply because of the chasm that we had from sports for a while and getting back into it, I guess. But that's been a crazy situation.
Yeah, you've got Jimmy Butler just playing like unconscious basketball, and he's got the Heat. They're probably gonna knock out the Bucks.
I would think most certainly they're gonna. It's that whole bubble thing is people are not looking at it like they normally would, and they don't see it the same either. And nor do they see the fact that because they're in the bubble, there's no home. There's no home advantage whatsoever. That's enormous. And a team who's hot, they're going to stay hot until the other team decides to make them otherwise. And that's hard to do when you don't have something backing you, like 20,000 fans or what have you.
I wonder if that is applicable to football, where the SEC this year, where if you're a road team, you're not as put off as you normally would be,
I absolutely believe that correlates perfectly. Auburn is one of the places in the SEC that has the best, one of the best home field advantages. And you look at any other school that has that, and that is absolutely going to apply. There's going to have to be things that coaches are going to have to look at. And I would hope that they're looking at the NBA bubble and seeing what's going on with certain teams and trying to find different ways to try and pump them up or make sure that they are in the direction or look to their leaders a little harder to be more verbal when they're on the field, because that is absolutely going to make a difference. It absolutely is.
Yeah, no doubt. It ought to be a fun season, man. I love how compact it's going to be. I wish that it started right now, but every game is going to matter, and there's no bullshit games, which I'm really happy about. I hope it stays like this. That'd be great.
Do something in the future here to kind of take control and keep a 10-game SEC, and we could say screw the world and just choose our own champion if we wanted to, really. But, yeah, that would be great.
All right, Deezer. I appreciate you calling in, brother, man.
Mr. JG, I appreciate you having me. Thank you guys for everything you do. You keep us in the loop, and you guys are fighting through during a very hard time, and I am much appreciative.
All right, bro. Be good. There he is, Deezer, an absolute badass, as you know. Some great words there early on in the call, too, about you just got to keep fighting. Incredible. Jeff C. actually asked he made a statement here just a minute ago. Said, good year for Auburn to have Georgia and Alabama on the road. Oh, hell yeah, man. It's almost like a free one. Not a free game, but it's like the toll that you've got to pay to play at Georgia and Alabama, to play in those environments and know you're going into those environments. You don't have to pay that this year. You still got to play those teams. Although Georgia has some questions that I don't necessarily think Alabama has right now. Jeff C. also asked earlier, and I thought this was a good question. I just didn't get to it because I think we were on the call with Bo is great. He asked, listen, if these problems or issues with Connis Miller were a problem in high school, then why was he so highly recruited? Here's the thing is, a lot of times kids, and I say this as somebody with a background in psychology, kids mature, okay? Most people are going to get to a good level of maturity at some point. Some kids mature incredibly well at 15. I did not myself. Some kids, it's 20. Some kids, it's 25. You're always thinking that if you're looking at Connis Miller as a high school senior, he's got the size you want. He's got the strength you want. He's got unusual quickness for a guy his speed, or his size, I should say. He is a defensive tackle who can hold a gap and who can also rush the passer. We know that. So when he's at his best, he's a very good football player. He also tends to dog it sometimes. A lot of kids at that age tend to dog it sometimes. And so as Rodney Garner has to sit down and say, okay, I love this kid's physical upside. Do I think that he can mature to a point where I can get more out of him as a player? Rodney's got to make kind of a judgment call on that. Some kids he walks away from and says, I don't think that I'm going to be able to get enough out of him. With Connis, and there's another part of the story that I think is we don't talk about as much. With Connis, he was immature and he didn't fight every play. Rodney thought that he could get more out of him, and it didn't work out. I think a big part of this is that Connis Miller's dad died just before he enrolled at Auburn, Connis Miller Sr., who was I did not talk to him but once, but by all accounts was a very cool dude and was an influential person for Connis. And I think losing your father at that age is just a killer, man. And it's asking for him to come from behind even more than he already had. And so I think it puts more pressure on Rodney to be more of a father figure, which he's capable of doing. But I think it leaves Connis a little more rudderless than you would want at that age. And ultimately, it just didn't quite work out. Like, he didn't quite click. I think Connis is going to click. It's just he's not there yet. And maybe when he ends up at wherever he's going next, Memphis or Virginia or South Alabama or wherever he ends up playing, I still think that coaching staff's got a 50-50 shot at getting him to click because I know he's a good football player. It's a matter of maturity. It's a matter of, is this kid going to click? And I've said this on the bunker. I've said this on the show before. For those of you who've been here, I know it sounds like a broken record. But Pat Sims was so similar to Connis Miller. I knew Pat Sims could play the position. But he had the same reputation. He dogged it sometimes. Sometimes he would make incredible plays. Other times he would just dog it. And it drove the coaches insane, and they didn't trust him on the field. His junior year, he clicked. He just figured it out. He said, I got to play harder. I got to give better effort every time I'm on the field. He did that. The coaches trusted him more. He played more. He was a better player. He was a more effective player. He was a damn good player. Went to the NFL, played. I mean, Pat Sims is a great success story. So my thought was that Connis could go down that same road, and it just didn't happen. I think they just were like, we're going to keep putting up with Connis until he clicks. We're just going to keep waiting until he clicks, and it just didn't happen. And he finally put them into a situation the other day where he was so insubordinate at practice. He just like, dude, we can't do this anymore. Like, I can't let you stay. I can't let you stay. So that's my answer, Jesse. I think it's a calculation on Rodney's part. You know, with somebody like Derek Brown, there's no calculation. Derek Brown's just a special player, and he had to work really hard to get Derek Brown, but he knew that if he got Derek Brown right away, it would be fine. Derek Brown comes from a family with his father has a background in the armed forces. Derek Brown has always been a very regimented young man. Like, that just speaks to Rodney. Rodney can just suck that up, and he's like, I got this. You know, this kid's going to jibe with me. But you can't sit around always looking for the same player. Hey, here's a kid that I can coach for sure, no problem. He's going to fit right in. Like, you have to find some kids that are a mixture of, he's a great athlete, he needs some work, I think I can get through to him. He wasn't able to get through to Conus. And he wasn't able to get through to Byron Coward either, for different reasons. Super chat coming in from my man flying around. Says, let's pour one out for the bunker legend, or pour one for the bunker legend D. Trudeau. D. Trudeau. Born on September 5th. Whenever. Probably like 20 or 30 years ago. I don't know. We love DD. Really, really, really cool, supportive person. Wholesome person. The same person on the board and off the board. And all she wanted to do was see bunker people kick ass. Like, I'm serious. It's all she cared about. Air horn. Thank you very much, Ed D. Thank you, flying around. Ed D, I got to get that straight, brother. I cannot believe that I continue to fail on that responsibility. It's unbelievable. Thank you, flying around. And thank you for your super chat and also for your just general support. You're a badass. You know what I'm talking about. I'll give you one of these, too. Okay, so I was aiming to get up with Nate King. Powerman, Bo is great, and Deezer have called in and been awesome, as you would expect. Also in the chat, Chauncey T was back. I don't know as though Chauncey's been on the show lately. He may have been on like last season. I don't remember, but Chauncey T is one of the absolute badass posters we have. He hasn't posted a bunch lately. I know he's been on the bunker, and we hope that Chauncey speaks up more because the dude knows his football. He loves Auburn. I know this because I met him at an Auburn game, and he was doing very much Auburn stuff. He was in Tiger Walk, giving it hell as he should, as a good Auburn guy, and we hope Chauncey hangs out. He's an absolute badass. Melee says the triangle of approval. You know what I say to that, buddy? Yeah, that right there. Canoe Man says, where is Alpha Tiger tonight? I don't know. It's a great question. He's usually a guy that jumps in a little bit late. Ed D says, Memphis Tigers 21, Arkansas State 14 at the half. I don't care about Arkansas State anymore now that Trooper Taylor's not there. Trooper Taylor's a Duke, and I don't care about the Wolves anymore. And my friend that used to be an instructor at Arkansas State, he's now at Arkansas Little Rock, so I don't care about him anymore. No, he's at Arkansas Fort Smith. Take it back. So I don't even care about that anymore. All right, we need to get Nate King on the horn. Actually, a little piece of trivia. Deezer and Nathan King have the same area code. What that? Well, we know that because Deezer said he's down in Florida. All right, what should we bang on Nate about? We'll just push him about team stuff. I bet he's not drinking 127 proof bourbon right now, though. I don't think Nate drinks hardly at all, even though he's of age. It's ringing. You guys can't hear it, but I promise that it is. That's 4 rings now.
And forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Uh-oh. We lost. We didn't get Nate again. This is great, man. We called him last week, and he didn't answer. Then he apologized to me on Sunday and Tuesday, and then we do it again, and he doesn't answer. But it has been a minute since I talked to him last. You know, I mean, it was like 45 minutes ago, and I was like, oh, we'll call you here in just a second. Ravine says, can't wait to hear about the honeymoon. Dude, he already said that on the rundown. Seriously, as nerdy as it is, dude. So he tells me and Jeffrey this story at the rundown. I think it's on tape. He's like, yeah, you know, we knew we were going to Universal. We were going to go to the Harry Potter world. And to get ready for that, we watched all the Harry Potter movies. And me and Jeffrey Lee are just like, and so he was talking about how much fun it was to go to like Harry Potter world at Universal. So I went there like a couple summers ago, and I have never seen a Harry Potter. I'm vaguely familiar with Harry Potter. Like I know it's like some nerdy kid with like circle glasses or whatever. That's all I know about it. I know that there's like a dude named Dumbledore. I don't know who that is. You know who that is? This is Nate King calling in right now, guys. Should we just not answer it? No, I'm just kidding. We'll take it. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hello, it's me.
Hey, what's going on, Fig Jam? How you doing, bro?
I'm good, JG. Do I sound like Fig Jam?
Is it Nate King?
It's Nate King. Can you not tell by my voice?
No, I knew by your number, too. You have that fake number where you say you're from Huntsville, but you're not.
Yes, that is what I have.
So,
I like to fool everybody.
I was telling the folks on the chat, like, I was surprised that I called you and then you didn't answer, but that's okay.
Yes, you didn't get my text message, but that's okay.
I didn't? Or I did?
I guess not. If you called, you didn't get it, but that's okay. I'm here to... here to discuss. So,
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh.
Here it says something came up. I'm out of pocket tonight. Well, you don't appear out of pocket right now.
Well, I felt bad for hitting you with that last minute. So, I do anything for our website. So here I am.
What came up? I mean, are you having like a party, or are you drinking? Are you and Kelsey like going on a joyride, or what's the story here?
This is a combination of those things. I tend to have previous plans for my Saturday. Like I don't enter Saturday and I'm like, I wonder what I'm going to do tonight.
This is fair.
I normally have. Yes.
Yeah, I am 48 years old, Nate. So I know what I'm doing on my Saturday night. I'm hanging out with the other folks here on the chat. But for you, you're what, 22? Is that how old you are?
Well, don't be too hard on you. You're a recent empty nester, so you're still figuring out your new schedule.
Oh, damn, that's kind of a backward compliment. But Nate,
it's a completely forward compliment.
Ravine actually asked, Ravine, who's an absolute badass on our show, was asking about your honeymoon. But the truth is, I mean, you've already talked about this. You guys went to Universal, and you really had a great time at the Harry Potter area, right?
Yes, so the Harry Potter area that I know you love. Have you had B-Matt on yet tonight?
No, not yet. He does kind of like Harry Potter, though. That's the weird thing.
Oh, he likes Harry Potter a lot. You guys weren't listening to him because you blocked him out. I think you offended him, but I was listening to his Harry Potter love, and it made Kelsey very happy when I told her about it too, because we're big Harry Potter people. I don't think he appreciated your disdain. I think you should apologize.
What you mean to B-Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Jeffrey like talking about booze and hot chicks a lot more than maybe you two do. I don't know.
That's probably so. There's some of that in Harry Potter, though, so maybe you should check it out.
Like, what hot chick? Are there soccer moms that are like taking their tops off or whatever?
No. You have to watch some other movies for that.
Yeah, I know which ones to go to. I kind of have them on bookmark or whatever. Hey, listen, We talked to Gus today a little bit after the scrimmage, and he provided a little bit of insight into what occurred inside Jordan-Hare Stadium today. What were your biggest takeaways from that?
I think the number one takeaway should be that there were 0 positive COVID tests this past week. I believe he told us before they were testing Sunday and Thursday. Now it sounds like they're doing Sunday and Wednesday. But between those two tests, nothing. No new tests after the 9 positive ones last week. And that's really big because I feel like 16, you got 16 guys out right now, whether they're positive or whether they were contact traced. And I feel like that's kind of your cap. Like, I just really don't see, a team like Tennessee today, where Jeremy Pruitt said they had 30-plus players out. They had to cancel their scrimmage because of that. If it comes down to a game week and you got that many guys, maybe you could still play if you meet the requirements from the league, but I don't think you're going to be beating much anybody. That's what Jeremy Pruitt said today. So I feel like Auburn, they need to get this thing under control. I know it's, a lot of it's not their fault, but they need to make sure they've got a grip on it. Gus said he was proud of the players for taking initiative and really trying to be more responsible. He said the tests woke him up a little bit. And then no major injuries to report, which is always good. Scrimmages are always a little scary in that regard, but apparently we didn't have any injuries. And other than that, it's been a lot of what we've been hearing in fall camp. The O-line is coming along well. The freshman running backs are impressing. The D-line newcomers are doing good, which is good without Connis Miller there. And I'm excited to get started next week because now it's getting down to it. We're only 3 weeks away from the first game.
Yep. We had a young man by the name of Christian C. on the chat earlier. He apparently works at the Plainsman. Just kind of give me a scouting report on Christian.
He's great. He's very good at Warzone, but you know that.
Of course.
Like a borderline professional player. No, he's really good. He and Jake W hold down the fort over there. They're my Padawans, I guess. I think I trained them up well last year, and they're doing really good work. I'm proud of them. They, student newspaper is important, and they're working really hard at it. And they both have really, really bright futures, I believe.
Yeah, this is Jake Weiss or Weesey.
It is, despite Kirk's pronunciation, it is Weiss.
Interesting. I was hoping that was the case because I called him Jake Weiss.
Yes, you are correct.
Someday, Nate, you won't be an intern here anymore, and we'll have to get another intern, and maybe one of those guys would like to be our intern and follow in your footsteps. They all seem to be just enamored with you, so that might be a good idea.
I think they are, yeah. I don't know why, but no, they're good. There's, they put their foot in the door, which I think is big. Some kids don't, they'll study the program. They'll be in Auburn's program, but they really don't have a lot of initiative to put themselves out there and write whatever comes up and meet people on the beat and meet the team and meet the coaches and stuff. But they're doing that, so they're doing everything the right way. I'm proud of them.
They're doing a hell of a job. Anything else from the scrimmage, kind of bouncing around here a little bit, that stuck out to you? I was telling the folks here on the show that I think Grant Loy getting more snaps today. I understand that Cord was the guy they already knew pretty well, so maybe he doesn't need as many snaps. But I thought that the fact that Grant Loy is getting as many snaps as he is might signal that he's kind of moving up the depth chart a little bit.
Yes, no, that's significant. That's probably one of the most concrete depth chart moves that we've been aware of throughout fall camp. Yeah, I mean, that's what I completely perceived it as. I think right now Grant Loy is probably your second quarterback behind Bo Nix. He's a guy that Gus said at the beginning of camp he's playing a lot of different positions, that he's a good special teams player, that he was playing some H-back too, but maybe those roles start to diminish as you see him to kind of becoming that QB2. Obviously that's going to be, if Bo finds himself in a COVID-related issue this year, that quarterback position is really, really important. I think they've got a lot of good depth there. But one of the big things, newsy that came out of it, I think, was Malcolm Johnson. He'll be here next week, and the fact that he's going to be immediately eligible. This is easily the best wide receivers class of Gus Malzahn's tenure. Cody Burns has a heck of a future right now with all those guys. And, Malcolm Johnson is one of those guys that he's coming on late. Fans haven't known him for as long as they know names like Kobe Hudson and J.J. Evans. But, I mean, he could be the best one out of all of them. He's like a really, really talented guy, really fast. I think he could find a role as early as this season. And then Oscar Chapman, the Australian punter, obviously a lot of people think he'll have the edge at that position. He'll be here as well. So a lot of depth chart positions starting to fall into place. I'm sure we'll see a lot more of that as we get closer to kickoff.
How do you see the situation break down at tailback? DJ, probably the prohibitive number one coming in, but we saw in the video today, Tank Bigsby getting some snaps. Sean Shivers had a big touchdown today. You still got Harold Joyner and Mark Anthony to consider. How do you think they're going to break that down?
Yeah, I like Mark Anthony a lot. I like everything I've heard about him. I like his skill set a lot for what Gus Malzahn likes to do. He's kind of a smooth, patient tailback that's got all the kind of, that's got everything going on that Kerryon Johnson did. Not to say that he's, SEC Offensive Player of the Year type guy, but, he could fit that mold in the future. I think he is going to be the guy in about 2 years that's leading this group. I think Tank Bigsby probably is not far behind him. But for this season, honestly, it's a toss-up for me. DJ Williams, like you said, is going to be the guy when the year starts. And that's just because Gus likes his guys. He just likes his experience. He likes having his veterans. He likes his continuity. But I'm not sure how long it'll take before we're probably looking at more of a by-committee thing. Shivers has had a good preseason. From everything we've heard, he's had a really good fall camp. And then like you said, it's impossible to discount Harold Joyner with how athletic and how versatile he is. So I don't know. I mean, we've been having this question for months and months and months of how Auburn was going to figure out its tailbacks room this year. And I think they're really talented, but I still have no idea how they're going to how they're going to distribute the rock. But there are worse problems to have than having a bunch of former blue chip recruits that you're trying to figure out how to give them the ball. So I think Chad Morris has a good plan for that position this year. I think they'll be catching a lot more passes. I think they'll be successful regardless of who's got the most carries.
And then on defense, we've been talking all night about Connis Miller being out now. He's not going to play. He's out of the program now. Still have some pretty good choices there at defensive tackle: Truesdell, Newkirk, Dre Butler, Marquise Burks, Jay Hardy, maybe even Daniel Foster Allen. Do you think that's a position they're worried about with Connis leaving?
I would be worried. That's a position that you don't lose Derek Brown and Marlon Davidson and just nothing happens. I do think they're really talented. I do think that they, are filling in with some great players. I think Tyrone Truesdell is a wildly underrated player for how efficient he was at times. He was, right behind Derek Brown last year in terms of some of his numbers. But I think they fill in like the receivers room for the future really, really well. I mean, they've got guys down the pipeline that are super, super talented. That's not to mention the defensive end position, guys like Colby Wooden, a guy like Romello Height at the buck position. Obviously, Derek Hall is only a sophomore. So kind of, I think 2021, 2022, it might be another year where this group is just really, really mean and nasty, because I think Marquise Burks and Zacchaeus Walker, those guys have really, really big futures along with everybody else that you mentioned. This season, I think it might be a bit of a struggle. Not that I don't think Big Cat Bryant and Truesdell and Daquan Newkirk are really good, because they are really, really good, and I think they're prepared for this. But it's going to be a drop-off. It's going to be an understandable drop-off. But I think, like you said, they've got a lot of depth as you look down the roster that I think will be really important. It'll be more important this year than ever before, but it's always important along the D-line. So I think they're pretty set in that regard.
Nate, you always do a great job of summarizing stuff, and we're glad to have you on. Even though you said you weren't going to be able to do it, we appreciate the sacrifices you made to be part of the Brain Drain tonight, sir.
Well, thank you, JG. I hope y'all have a good night chatting, and say hey to everybody for me, and keep them behaved.
All right, are you going to watch movies tonight? What are you doing tonight? Seriously.
I don't know. Well, let me ask. What are we doing tonight? Are we watching a movie? I think sure. Yeah, I think that was the plan. So I'll let you know. I'll let you know what we're going to watch. Not Frozen 2. Something else.
Yeah, something better, maybe. Please.
Frozen 2 is not good. Yes.
Okay.
Continue the Frozen 2 slander.
All right. See you, Nate.
All right, JG. Take care.
Bye-bye. There he goes, Nate King. Young Nate. Someone that I know, Crocosile, big fan. Also, Ruxy Poo, big fan. Navin, I don't know. See, we know Ravine is Ravine, but I don't know if this is Naveen or Navin. I don't know. But he says, thanks, Nate. It's appreciated, brother. Ed D says, with Chad Morris, I believe more people will have opportunities, guys. Gus just likes certain players for his system. Gus doesn't adjust for players with different skill sets. I don't know if I agree with that, but I think that Gus kind of has these predisposed ideas about how each dude is going to fit in. And even if the data suggests that it's something like we need to change how we're using this kid, like he doesn't do it. He's like, no, he's going to do this. And saying, hey, man, Harold might be pretty good up the middle. No, I don't like him like that. Where I think that maybe Chad will be a little more open-minded about it. I don't know. Jeff C. says, pretty sharp kid about young Nate. Yes, he is. He's a sharp young man who may be from Orlando or maybe from Huntsville. It just depends on the day. Kind of like Allie. Allie says she's from Philly when it benefits her, and then she says she's from Tampa when it benefits her that way. I would imagine since the Flyers, I imagine the Flyers are losing because they were losing big time. Oh, I do want to mention this. My friend Joe Medley, who covers sports in Anniston, Alabama, says he's asking high school fans to pray for Handley High School's Nate Pike. He left the Tigers' victory over Munford Friday with an apparent head injury. He's now in ICU in Atlanta while the specialists determine the extent of the injury. So, Nate Pike. Let's for those of you who are the praying type, that would be great. And for those who aren't, however you would like to Send him some positivity. You know, we all love the game of football. We all know that sometimes there's a threat of injury. And we just hope that young man's going to be okay. All right. So we got young Nate talking a little bit about the situation at tailback. Tons of depth. There was a comment earlier in the chat. I wish we had this kind of depth at tailback in 17. Hell yeah. When Carry-On goes down, it's like, wait, is there anybody else? There is now, but it took 2 or 3 years to get that figured out. Although at the time, I guess they thought Cam Petway would have been that guy. I mean, he's a pretty good player. I happen to think Tank Bigsby's going to get ahead of DJ here pretty soon. You know, and Mark Anthony to me is more of a receiver. I think he can run the football, no doubt. But I think he's going to end up being, I don't know, as though we've seen a tailback. Excuse me, a tailback at Auburn like Mark Anthony. You know, he's a guy who can carry the football, but he's also just a really gifted receiver. I feel like, I don't know where he fits in. He's going to fit in somewhere, but you think about like an Ontario or somebody like, well, Ontario, a little different than that. Be more like Brad Lester. If Brad Lester was he was like a much better receiver, it's kind of what I see with Mark Anthony. And I just don't know what they got in Harold Joyner. I mean, I'm intrigued, dude. In the beginning, I was kind of like, meh. You know, and the bunker kept ragging me about it, saying, bro, you got to get on board with this. And, you know, for a while there, I just didn't really know what to make of him. But I don't know. He's a pretty good football player, man. I'd like to see what they can get out of him. Yeah, I don't know if AU Taxman's still here, but this a lot. This is funny that really just jumps in with a super chat like that, considering what I'm about to say. But there he is. JGT doesn't seem drunk enough. This Elijah Craig, man, I got to put some water in it. That's the first bourbon in my life I've ever said that about. Seriously, I refuse to do it. For those of you who are coming a little bit late tonight, I am drinking the Elijah Craig small batch, barrel proof small batch, whatever you want to call it. 127 proof, which means it's 63% alcohol. This is batch B520. B means it's the second batch of the year. 5 means it was bottled in May of 520. Retails in the $60 to $70 range, depending on where you're located. I think in the ABC stores, this is 65-ish, something like that. It's said to be 12 years old, but they don't actually say that on here. But the chatter on the street, as the kids say, is that it is 12 years old. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Watermelon dog dicks. Hello, is this the brain drain?
What up, dog? How you doing, man?
What up, dog? Hey, how about everybody's watermelon dog dicks come to center tonight, baby? How you doing?
Wait a minute. Now you show up, you call in, we'd love to have you. And it's right now that Alpha Tiger shows up in the chat. Is that just coincidence that you both would just pop on the scene at the same time?
Oh, no, listen, I ain't got a daggum clue. I love Alpha Tiger, but I've never met him. I have no idea when he shows up. Or supposedly Alpha Tiger's got some really good women involved in his life, but I don't know a lot about the details.
Damn, okay. I mean, are they hotter than, like, some of the women that, like, say, you and Papa Bear hang out with?
Well, I mean, they're probably a couple 100 pounds lighter. I'll guarantee you that, dadgum, dog. I'll guarantee you that. But how you doing tonight, JGT?
Well, we're doing good. We've had a great show so far. We've had a cadre of great callers. Power Man Bo was great.
Listen,
Deezer.
I've listened to probably the first time a very good show. The last couple, really good stuff tonight.
Well, it's very, very nice of you to say that, bro. And your support means a lot to us here on the Brain Drain and at auburnsports.com because we know you're a titty lover, and I mean, I think we all are.
Oh, look, there's nobody that doesn't love tits on the bunker. That's just the way we work, okay? But now, do we have anything going on tonight? I love the callers. Anything we need to talk about?
Yeah, we need to talk about Connis Miller. I mean, I think everyone wants to know what your thoughts are about Connis leaving and if they can kind of overcome that inside.
My thoughts on Connis Miller are no thoughts. He played. He's a Jackson Olin commit, just like T.D. Moultrie. We've got to stop recruiting kids from that high school. Okay, they're not good players. I think he played for. Listen, I think he's a really good kid from what I hear. One of my buddies is a referee for one of their basketball games. He loves him. He's just not a good football player. I think he's got 2 tackles in 2 years, whatever his stats are. Same thing with T.D. Moultrie. T.D. Moultrie is going to play this year. He's not very good. But listen, we need to support them, whatever they do on their next journey. But we won't be hurt by Connis Miller leaving because he's just not very good. But hopefully we'll in our line we'll struggle a little bit at first, but hopefully we'll get better as it goes.
You think neither of those guys are any good? Like you think Connis and TD are not very good football players?
Listen, I was a huge fan of T.D. Moultrie 3 years ago. Okay, I will promise you this, JG Tate. Put the film on. Show me a play where T.D. Moultrie's made a play in 3 years. He hadn't. Okay. Same thing with Connis Miller. Now, listen, Connis Miller he was a guy that Alabama and Auburn recruited. Everybody at Jackson Olin, everybody loved. Okay. Well, sometimes you got to go back and say, maybe we made a mistake. We didn't recruit. Connis Miller's not very good. I mean, but that's my opinion.
All right. But one guy you do think is very good, your boy Shivy Poo, Sean Shivers, went for a 70 or 80-yard touchdown today.
Yeah. I got a little bit of info from the scrimmage today, but I just love Shivy Poo because he's so tough. And I will say this, I get a lot of heat from Shivy Poo, but I watch more film than anybody in the world in Auburn. Go back to the LSU film on Shivy Poo 2 years ago. He has 3 carries for 14 yards. Okay. If Bo Jackson had 3 carries, they would have been -2 yards. He's so freaking tough. Shivy Poo's a monster. He's going to be tough this year.
Well, I mean, he's very fast in a straight line, Doc, but I don't know about being shifty and lateral agility. I don't know about that.
Tate. He's a tough monster. I know everybody loves all these. We get 4-star, 5-star, whatever recruits. All I'm saying is give the son of a bitch to Shivy Poo and see how it ends up.
All right. Maybe they'll do that. Maybe they won't. Your situation at tailback, though, I've got DJ Williams and Tank Bigsby dueling it out to be the number 1 tailback with Shivers kind of back behind them. How do you think this is going to play out?
Right. Well, I think if Chad Morris is the guy, he's on record that he loves speed, and I think Shivy Poo is the starting tailback. That's just my guy. Now I love DJ Williams, and I think Tank's got potential, and I think evidently Moore had a good scrimmage today. But I still think Shivy Poo is the guy. If you're going to compete in the SEC, he's the guy that is better than the other linebackers that you play. That's just my opinion.
Better than the other linebackers?
Well, what I'm saying is if you're playing against LSU's linebackers, okay, do you want DJ Williams or do you want Shivy Poo? Okay, you want Shivy Poo. He's just quicker than everybody, and he's like he took one to the house today. I think he's going to be good.
As far as other situations on the offensive line, we all love Broham. We think Nick Brahms can get it done. Do you think Brandon Council's going to end up being a worthwhile starter for Auburn this fall?
I think the offensive line is going to be okay. I like Big Dick Vic. I love. I don't know that Brahms will start at center. I'm not going to. I don't have enough connections to the program to know that, but I think we're going to be okay offensive line. I think, and even if we're not, I think Nix is a good enough quarterback. He's really good on with a rush. So I think, but I think we're going to be okay offensive line. Whoever starts wherever. My problem, I think the secondary is going to be an issue, but the offensive line is going to be fine.
And then at wideout, I mean, Seth's a badass, Schwartz a badass. Your thoughts on Eli Stowe as being the flanker? Do you think he's good enough to play flanker the whole year?
Well, I like Eli Stowe, but I'm going to tell you this. I think Kalen Newton is going to be a huge player this year. Okay? Kalen Newton was a starting quarterback at his college for like 2 years or 3 or 4, wherever he was. Okay? He transferred to Auburn. Okay? Nobody transfers to sit. Okay? And Gus's comments today where he was very physical, I think Kalen Newton is going to be a big player in our offense this year. I will tell you this, J.G. Tate. Last year, Sal Cannella, and we had a transfer from Arizona that played about 40% of the snaps, okay? Kalen Newton is 10 times better than both those players. I think Kalen Newton is going to play and be a huge player for us this year.
As like a slot receiver, or what are you thinking there?
Well, I don't know where he's going to play because I just haven't seen it, but I don't think he transfers here to not play. I think wherever position he plays, whether it's be wide receiver, slot, whatever he does, I think Kalen Newton is a big-time player this year for Auburn.
How about Grant Loy? We were talking earlier, young Nate and I, that we feel like Grant Loy has moved up to the number 2 spot at quarterback. Is he somebody you would trust?
No, I don't agree with you on Grant Loy. In fact, I've joked on the bunker this week about the PFF ratings. If you look at the PFF ratings, which are totally different than my ratings, but the PFF ratings, they do not like Grant Loy from whatever he's from Delaware or whatever he's from Canada, where he's from. They're not big fans of his. So I don't think he's going to be that guy. But then again, I don't know him. I've never seen him play.
All right,
But I do think Kalen Newton is going to be a big time part of the Auburn offense.
You just don't know where yet.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to play right guard, split end, flanker, punter. But I think he's going to play. And let me put it this way: Sal Cannella played last year, and so did a fullback transfer from Arizona. I think he's 10 times better than both those guys. I think he'll be on the field.
Damn, you know what? I'm looking at the PFF grades right now for Grant Loy, and you weren't joking, man. He finishes with a 59.3 grade, which is horrendous.
Yeah, well, I think listen, we love the bunker. I love my family, okay? And I'm just like, I love Bo Nix. I love Bo Nix, okay? But the PFS, they basically says Bo Nix sucks.
No, that's
okay?
true. That's true.
For his first year. Now, listen, he may be great this year. I hope he is. But they're saying with Grant Loy, who knows what's going to happen this year? But there's a lot of options on the table.
Boy, you're right about that. I had no idea that Grant Loy's numbers were that bad. I mean, 6'5", 225, you feel like, that's a pretty good player. But yeah, I don't know. These stats are not very good.
Well, but you've also got to take in, who he played against, who he played with. There's tons of, it's like Bo Nix. I'm not a big fan of Bo Nix, but I will say this. Bo Nix played in an offense last year that was dog shit. If Bo Nix played for, let's just say Bo Nix last year played for Tuscaloosa, okay? I bet you money his numbers would be a bunch better. Mac Jones' numbers were pretty good in 3 games.
That's true.
Yeah, so I'm just saying I'm not a big Bo Nix maniac, but I don't knock him for last year's numbers because our offense was so bad. If Chad Morris calls the offense this year, I think he's got a chance to really do some damage.
Yeah, I really feel, Doc, that he has been given the autonomy that he wanted. That Gus is staying out of the way.
Today in the scrimmage.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard it in 2 scrimmages, and Coach State, I definitely do. Anything else going on we need to talk about?
No, I mean, just drinking some bourbon. I'm having some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof tonight. I don't know how you feel about that, but it's 120-something proof. It's pretty damn hot, Doc.
Hey, the highest proof I get is about 54, but that's okay, J.G. Tate.
Little Evan Williams.
What about our defense? Is anybody talking about can we stop anybody? Is that going to be talked about?
Well, I love their depth up front, but I don't know if there's a lot of stars, guys we can rely on. I mean, I guess the guy up front that you like the best has got to be Big Cat Bryant, but I'm kind of with you. He doesn't make a lot of just game-changing plays, And I like Ty Truesdell, but he's just kind of a grinder.
I love Big Cat. I love him because he hustles.
He
okay?
does. He does.
The negative thing is he doesn't make any tackles. But now he may do that this year. Who knows? But I think our defense has got a chance to be okay. We just hopefully the secondary can get a little better. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, back there, I mean, you feel good at safety, but, I mean, do you trust Roger McCreary, Domio, and Pritchett?
No, I don't feel good at safety. Listen, our two safety guys, I love them to death in the run game. Okay, they're terrible in the pass game. Smoke Monday, he's going to knock the shit out of you on a power sweep. Okay, if you send Julio Jones on a bomb, okay, he's not going to come within 12 yards of the pass. That's what we've got to get better at.
Word. Well, there's some questions. There's no doubt about that, Doc.
Yeah.
Well, it's great having you on. I mean, you're obviously our first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, both on the bunker and on the brain drain. So we love having you on the air.
Well, I wouldn't say that. But, Tate, it is so great to be on the drain again because the drain is the – did Ruxy Poo call in tonight?
Not yet, but Ruxy Poo calls in most nights, but you don't. Why don't you call in more often?
Well, I probably need to, but I kind of follow Ruxy Poo. He kind of started the brain drain. You're saying we've had a brain drain tonight and Ruxy Poo has not called in?
He's been chatting, but he has not called in yet, no.
Okay. I think what worries me about Ruxy Poo is that I think he worries about his drinking, and that the other side of him worries about his women's side because he's got all these apps with these chicks.
Oh.
And I just want Ruxy Poo to be normal. We love you, Ruxy Poo. We don't care how much you get drunk. We don't care what apps you go on with your women. Just please let us know where you are. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. We love Ruxy Poo. We want him on the show, and I mean, we love him unconditionally, of course.
Hey, Ruxy, I will say this. I moved Armani Goodwin, the trustful tailback.
Yes.
Is the best football player in Alabama without a doubt.
Wow.
He's coming to Auburn, and I've seen about 20 football players play this year. Armani Goodwin is without a doubt the best, and he's kind of like a Trey May clone. We should love him to death.
He's been putting up some numbers, man, out there at Hewitt-Trussville. He's a bad man.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, I don't even care about the numbers. I'm just saying, just watching his video, and I saw him practice. Actually, I remember 2 years ago. He is a monster. He's like a Trey May. We're gonna love him.
We had some scoop here in the chat. Doc Thompson says from Bo is great.
Yes.
Says why does Doc hate TD Moultrie? The backstory is that TD ran a kick 6 on Doc's aunt in an '87 Buick behind Skybar. Is that true?
Well, that is. I will say I can't really knock Bo is great because Bo is great. Honestly, you know Bo is great.
Of course,
he knows. He has more knowledge. He has more knowledge. I get every single scoop I get from Bo is great. But Teddy Moultrie he's a Jackson only recruit, just like Conus Miller was, and he is. We'll see. It's just you play the game a whole bunch of times. You finally realize maybe you should recruit from that school. And if TD Moultrie plays on the field this year, I don't know that we'll be as good as if he didn't play on the field. Let's put it that way.
Okay. That's one way to put it,
yeah.
Doc. It's very, very diplomatic of you.
Yeah. Yeah, man. And listen, I love, me, JJ, I love Auburn. I'm just saying,
of course,
if we're going to compete, I don't know that he needs to be on the field.
Doc, another incredible call. I mean, every time you call in, it's just the highlight of the show. So,
well, I've got a lot of bad in. Hey, listen, JJ Tate, we love you to death, and listen, we love the brain drain, and have a great night tonight. We will be in touch next week.
All right, see you, Doc.
Yeah.
There he goes, Doc Dumpster, one of the absolute beasts. Somebody keeps giving me a thumbs down, and I'm pissed. I want answers. My like to hate ratio is 20 thumbs up to 3 thumbs down. You guys are terrible. Why would you give me 3 thumbs down? Come on, man. We have great callers tonight. Powman, Bo was great. Deezer, Doc Dumpster, Young Nate, Jeffrey Lee. Come on, man. Some true luminaries on the phone lines. I don't know why you guys would run this. How dare you? I'm so disgusted. No, I'm just kidding. I will say this, though, Bo is great. It seems like you may have struck a nerve there with Doc. And Canoe Man asks a great question. Does Doc Dumpster love Auburn more than Georgia? Crocodile says, remember to like the video, guys. We do need more thumbs up, I think. Like the video. I'm sorry. This is what they do on YouTube. Guys, if you like the video, smash the like button. If this video has helped you in any way, smash the like button and subscribe to our channel, Auburn Athletics. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I also watch some Twitch streams as well. Mostly just FIFA guys. And I also watch a guy named Thind. I don't know if you guys watch him, but Thind. He plays Warzone, and he's insanely good. Way better than I ever am. Also, as I typically do during the show, I want to give a shout-out to my bunker friends who play with me on Warzone. That would include Locked On, Double D's, Phil Dog, AU Milo, Effin' Tiger. I haven't played with him in a while, but GG32 as well. S. Lee, haven't played with him in a minute, but he's there. Shoot, who else? Pachuda. Cardea. Appreciate all you guys. I feel like I played with Against the Spread not too long ago. Maybe a couple weeks. Let's see. Jake reminds me to turn on notifications. Oh, yeah. Well, I was kind of being like joking, but if you guys like the video and you like the content, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and also turn on your notifications. How'd I do? Did I do all right? Okay, so what I want to do now is, who gave me a thumbs down? You guys are bad people. I want to get Brian on, but if you guys remember now, 2 weeks ago, Brian did not sound good. And then last week, he was okay. So if there's some things you think that I should be asking Brian, now would be the time to tell me. And we'll make sure and get your question answered. I bet I've only had about 10% of this bottle. But I'm definitely feeling it. I mean, it's hot now. I mean, it's not hot to drink, but it's hot. It affects me. 127 proof is... Whew. That's fully leaded gasoline right there. Air horn, smash that like button. If you smash that like button, we're going to do the... Boom. Well, in lieu of any great questions for Brian, I know Canoe Man and Pocket Watch are wondering if he's going to have the heavy breather tonight. Hey, guys. So, wow, what a game, huh? He won't be doing that. And I also want to say we like to make fun of BMAT for calling into the show when he's in bed. But no, I shouldn't say it. But one of my friends, I think he does his Zoom calls from the bed too. I don't want to name names, so I better not. I don't want to impugn that person because I love him. But like when we do the Zoom calls with Gustav, you can see where everybody is, right? You know, because we're all kind of like on this video, and some people are in bed. I'm just saying, like JG's not. I don't know if Brian is or isn't. He has like a Liverpool background when he does it. Navin or Naveen says, OMG, dude, that's like 26% alcohol. No, it's like 63% alcohol, bro. Read them and weep. Can you see where it says 63%? I mean, that Larceny barrel proof I had like 3 months ago was like 130 proof, but this is close. Really says, I don't see the issue with zooming in bed. Well, I don't really technically have a problem with that, but my question is this. So, like, we did Gus at 1 o'clock today. Like, why are you in bed at 1? Hey, man, if you're the guy I'm talking about, and you know who you are, like from the Auburn beat, I'm not really making fun of you, bro. I'm just teasing. But, I mean, if it's 1 o'clock, why are you in bed? Like, don't we get out of bed at like 8 or 9 or 10? Just saying, yo. Really says, well, if this is 63% alcohol, then what's the other 37%? Seems like a weak drink to me. Jake G says that Asa Martin, former Auburn Tiger, former Miami Hurricane, got on the field tonight. That's great. Let's see. Sterling says, I would like for BMAT to talk about the safety position, starters and backups. We can do that. Again, not really hating on zooming in bed. if it was an 8 o'clock call, but 1 o'clock? I don't know. We had a call with players the other day at, we had one at 11? I don't know. Even that seems a little late to be chilling in bed, but, I'm not hating. I'm not doing it, but, if they want to, I don't know. Melee says, some people have really small apartments, thus bed Zoom calls. This particular young man, well, he's not that young. This particular fella, I know he lives in a house. Late B says 8, 9, 10. How do y'all sleep in? Got some news for you, bro. It's your fault to have young kids, man. Mine's 18 and she's out of the house. Well, she's actually in the house tonight, but normally she's not here, so that's good. It's going to be a game changer for you and your gal, Leif. Canoeman says maybe BMAT will be tuning his exhaust system and muffler when he calls in. Yeah, we need to get an update from BMAT about his car search. So when he told me like 2 weeks ago that his car was toast, I was like, oh my God, we got to help you. I'm going to help you find a car. I started telling him about these cars that Lynch had. Pocket Watch says, I bet it was Philip Marshall zooming from bed. It was absolutely not. Philip, he has like an office in his house, like an actual, similar to what I got here. It doesn't look like this, but it's the same concept. And so no. Philip calls in from his office. And and the guy who's doing it, like, I love the guy, like, seriously. I would hug him. I'd hug him on his neck right now if he was here. I'm just saying I would. All right, we're going to call Brian. We're going to talk about safety. We're going to talk about the car. Okay? Assuming we get him. But I imagine B-Match is chilling anyway. Canoe Man says, no way it was P-Marsh. The Commodore would not call him out. You guys know. Phillips, good friend of mine.
Hola.
Hey, what's up, Jay Lee? How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up?
Nah, I'm just kidding. It's B-Matt. What's going on, bro?
Just making some moonshine. Smoking a little cigarette.
Are you in Roanoke or Wadowee?
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, before we get started, somebody wanted to know like what's going on with the car search, so we need an update on that.
Nothing new, really. I've just been pondering things, thinking about it, slowly evaluating my options.
What? Have you taken any more test drives or whatever?
No more test drives. Nope.
Well, I'm disappointed. I was hoping that you would be further along because I know you need a car. You and Yvonne, come on, bro.
I know. Well, I will. One day I'm just going to do it. So.
Okay. I hope that I can help you. Can I be of any help? Is there anything I can do?
You can continue to think good thoughts.
Okay. Very good. We also had someone who wanted to know your thoughts about the situation at safety at Auburn. We just had Doc Dumpster on just moments ago, and he is concerned about the situation at safety. He thinks that Jamie and Sherwood and Smoke Monday are good against the run but bad against the pass. Do you think safety is going to be a problem for this defense this year?
No, I don't. But I think there are legitimate concerns, but I think Sherwood and Monday are a little bit better in pass coverage than people give them credit to. They had some mistakes, but they were freshmen and sophomores, backups, so that happens. And I think they're very talented. They've got all that experience over the last couple of years. I think they're going to be really good starters for Auburn. I think both are going to end up being NFL safeties, in my opinion. I think they're the better safeties Auburn's had in quite a while. So I also think that you got a guy like Jordan Peters who can rotate in there. I think Matthew Hill, as the season goes on, is going to prove to be a quality backup at that position. And I think Auburn's got enough depth in the secondary, as long as there's no major injuries, to be pretty good in the back end.
Also, I like to bounce around in interviews. We had Nate on earlier. He was talking about the Harry Potter thing, and he said that he thought you were more into Harry Potter than he was. Is that true?
I have read the book series a few times myself, and I have been to, the Harry Potter, amusement park back when it opened about 8-9 years ago, something like that, 10 years ago. But It was cool. But no, I'm not really into it anymore. I was more into Game of Thrones the last few years, and then was really disappointed in the last 2 seasons of that. So that kind of took away my
I
spirit
thought the
for the
next to
second show
last
sometime.
season was okay, and I thought the last season was okay. Like, I don't know.
And I think when they lost George R. R. Martin's writing, the guys in charge just did not have the talent to really continue to make it a really focused and interesting story. I just think they lost their way, so to speak.
Word. Let's bounce back to football. We've been talking all night about the loss of Connis Miller and how does this affect them at defensive tackle. Do you think they have enough dudes inside, I'm talking about at the 2 tackle spots, to kind of make it work this year? You got Truesdell, Butler, Newkirk, Marquise Burks, Jay Hardy. Is that going to be enough?
Well, here's the thing. How many years did Don Dunn have just 3 tackles that he played the whole season? 2 starters and 1 guy that rotated in.
Most of the time, right?
Well, exactly. Most of the time. Auburn's got 5 D tackles right now. And they got a whole bunch of DNs. If they have to, they can rotate them over there too. And we'll rotate them purposely there on pass rushing situations. So, no, I think numbers-wise, Auburn's good. And I think talent-wise, Auburn's good there. And I think coaching development-wise, Auburn's good there. I mean, you look at Connett, he was going to be a boomer bust guy anyway. There was just as good a chance or better, and of course it's happened now, that he was, not going to pan out and he was going to get passed by, by some of these younger guys, some of these JUCO incoming guys, as there was that he was going to, turn that proverbial corner and become, the next standout defensive lineman. I felt like he could go either way, and we know which way it went.
I know it's kind of a bummer because I know he's got a high ceiling, B-Matt, but I mean it's just like these issues that hounded him in high school. It's just the same issue he had here,
Yeah, I know. And sometimes you get those kids, and Tyrone Truesdale was sort of that same kid in a way, but look how he's turned around things, right? So it's not like you don't take chances on these kids. Sometimes it just doesn't quite pan out, and maybe he will, find a place where he fits in better. And it's not like the story has to be over for him. He can still have success somewhere. He's just got to be a little bit more self-motivated and be able to take coaching better.
I wonder where he's going to end up. Is it going to be like South Alabama? Or is it going to be like Vandy? Is it going to be like Alabama A&M? I mean, there's a lot of possibilities there, I guess.
I can see him staying in state at a Troy or South Alabama. So that makes a lot of sense to me.
Word.
I could definitely see that. That would be a good move for him, I think.
Anything else? Gus talked to us for a good 30 minutes today after the scrimmage, and he gave us a little bit of insight into the actual scrimmage. He told us about how many plays, and he said that Shivers had a big play, 3 takeaways for the defense. Anything really stand out to you about what Gus was talking about today?
Yeah. Well, I mean, running back Shivers and DJ get most of the reps of the ones. That tells you a little bit about how it's going to look going into the season. And at first, I'm like, I don't know about that. But then you think about this offense and Chad Morris, and you think about Shivers catching a short pass and taking 80 yards today. That's what this offense is. And, if you're a defensive guy and you're looking at Auburn and you think, well, I've got to defend this track guy at running back, I got to defend this track guy at receiver, and they got Eli Stove, they got Seth Williams, they got Bo Nix. I mean, they got a lot of weapons. And we also heard Gus talk a little bit more about the running backs. He said that Tank Bigsby and Mark Anthony Richards are showing, that breakaway ability, which is pretty exciting if they're doing that against Auburn's defense, even if it is second or third teamers.
Absolutely.
Still, that's pretty good. So I feel a lot better about that position since in a long, long time, to be honest with you. I think Auburn's finally got some quality up there, and I think we're going to see them use it this year.
Yeah, you're talking about DJ, you're talking about Tank, Sean Shivers, Harold Joyner, Mark Anthony Richards. I mean, that's a lot of dudes right there that can do some damage,
Yep. And I hope Harold Joyner can find a niche in this offense, whatever that is. I like to see guys like him that are as big as he is, that can run like he can. I just like that. I like his running style. It's fun to watch. So I got my fingers crossed for him.
And you feel like I do that Brandon Council's probably going to be starting somewhere on this offense, right? I mean, somewhere on that line.
It sure sounds to me like Broderick's Ham is starting somewhere. Nick Brahms is starting. Brandon Council's starting. Austin Truxell's probably starting. And Deshaun Manning is probably starting right now, and we'll see, how that evolves. I think we forget it's still 3 weeks from today.
I know.
That's a long,
it's a long time. It's a long time.
So it's a lot of competition, and you get those 16 players back this upcoming week, and that'll help things out too.
Yeah, and the good news is that, like Gus was saying, 0 tests positive on Tuesday the last 2 testing series last week, 0 new tests. So that means they've definitely kind of cleaned up the problems that affected them last week or the week before.
Yeah, I think they diagnosed how those guys got, infected and how it happened, and I think, they'll take the steps to avoid that. I mean, their best chance is just to quarantine that team as best as possible and live in that proverbial bubble for as long as possible. Yeah. Best thing that could happen is as soon as get sent home.
Yeah, you can almost do that. I mean, with so many classes being virtual, and at Auburn, I mean, it's more. Yeah. There's a ton of virtual classes. You can almost live in a bubble. Like, seriously.
Right. Yeah, you could. Yep.
My daughter's basically doing that at South Alabama, so
yeah,
I don't see why it's any different at Auburn.
I don't either.
Anything else picking your brain right now, B. Matt? Anything we need to talk about on the show?
Nothing major. I thought he had some really good things, Roger McCreary, and I'll be writing about him here in a day or two. So that'll be good. And I still see some people skeptical about Bo Nix for some reason. I just think that kid is special. Maybe the best quarterback since Jason Campbell, maybe.
Boy,
at Auburn.
It took several years for Jason to get really good too. That's the thing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Jason was not as good as a true freshman. I just Avon point out Cam Newton. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, good point.
He's pretty
Cam
good.
Newton, yes, yeah, he was pretty good.
He's pretty good.
So was Nick Marshall. Too. Yeah, he's pretty darn good too. So
he's pretty good.
Okay, so maybe the best one since Nick Marshall. How about that?
I know he's pretty good though.
But he is really good.
Somebody asked me in the chat earlier to ask you why Liverpool keeps losing to Arsenal. What's the story with that?
I mean, it was a community shield. Congrats on the silverware, so to speak. I'm not worried. I think there are 2 teams that have really stepped up so far in the off season, and that's Chelsea and that's Man United. So what I think we're going to see this year in the Premier League is we're going to see a better battle in the top 4. We're not going to see Liverpool or Man City have 98 or 99 or 100 points, whatever. I think it's going to be much, much closer and much more interesting. Maybe not 2 teams just pulling away from everybody else like it was last couple of years.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I think that City is going to push Liverpool a little bit more, and I think Chelsea's taking a step up. But for me, United is still flagging behind. I mean, that's just how I see it.
We'll see. I just, I know they've had some bombs with some of their signings, but it seems like they've hit the mark here with a lot of them lately. So, and Chelsea, my God, they've got so much attacking talent now. It's crazy.
I know.
If they go out there and get a goaltender and one more good defender, they could really be, right there.
I don't like Chelsea.
I don't like anybody but Liverpool.
I want bad things to happen to them, and I want the bad things to happen only to them. I just hate them.
Well, what about Man City? You hate them, don't you?
I do hate them too. I hate them a lot. I'm supposed to hate Liverpool, but I don't really. I mean, I love Jurgen Klopp, man. He's a man of the people, I like him.
It's hard to hate Liverpool. It really is.
No,
they went 30 years
without
a title. 30 years, that's a long time. You start to feel bad for him after that.
It's hard to hate Jurgen. I don't know about Liverpool. Some of those guys are turds, but that's okay.
Kind of like Georgia. Of course, I don't feel bad for Georgia. And plus, it's been 40 years. That's forever.
Of course you don't. I mean? And their presumed starting quarterback is now bouncing out, right?
I guess, yeah. Who knows?
Who knows?
Dogs.
Nobody pays attention to Georgia. Who cares?
Yeah. There you go.
All right, B-Man, I'm going to bounce now, brother. I hope that you and Yvonne have a great night, bro.
We are Netflixing and chill tonight, brother.
All right, bro. You behave yourself.
Good night.
See you, bro. There he goes, Brian Matthews. One of the all-time greats. He knows what he's talking about. He's always where he's supposed to be. That's just Brian Matthews in a nutshell. Let's see. JB says, JB DC Elite. My man, I know who that is. Be mad is bringing the world football heat. Absolutely. Brian M says, lots of Jeep hits. First time brain drain. Love you, JG. Appreciate you, Brian. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to say. Naveen says soccer. Yeah, I know. I kept it short. Come on, man. You can give us a couple minutes. Alpha Tiger says, is Talsy Tiger a brain drainer? I can almost guarantee he's not. And I'll tell you something else he's not. He's not a bunkerer either because I gave him a permanent ban. I'm done with Talsy Tiger. I'm completely done with him. I'm just completely done with him. Stump Fan, I'm still kind of figuring out in my head what I want to do with Stump Fan. He's back posting, but he's on a very tight leash. And we've had some heart-to-hearts about this. I don't dislike Stump Fan the way that some of you guys do. To me, he is a different breed than Talsy Tiger. Talsy Tiger's just super, he's just trying to get everybody mad. I honestly think that Stump Fan's I think he's an all right dude. I really do. So we're going to kind of see how that goes. I did notice that Son of Seaborn was back posting today. He was not supposed to be. That's my fault. He's gone. I'm done. The comment that he made last week about the dude, you guys know what I'm talking about. Those of you on the bunker from last week, you know what I'm talking about. He needed to go. He needed to go. It was time. And also, I think Overman's gone too. Overman. I think that's it for Overman. I'll just leave it at that. I think it was time for him to go. We've got some people that just really want to say some crazy, crazy stuff on the bunker. And, man, there just comes a time when I'm just I can't continue to let you do this. I don't know. Too much toxicity. Crocodile says Seaborn needed to go. Here's the thing about Seaborn, right? So he spread a completely made-up lie about me on the main board where he said that I disparaged veterans. And I would never do that. My granddad's a veteran. My dad's a veteran. Both of my granddads are veterans. And then my dad's a veteran too. And, although I never served, I was my dad was in the Navy when I was a kid. He didn't get out till I was 14. So, I was moving around the world as a Navy kid. Well, not the world, the country. And, we were going to go to Guam, and he didn't end up going to Guam, but whatever. So, I lived the military life. Of course I'm not going to disparage veterans or disparage military people. So, Seaborn was yeah. On the other board, he was yeah, I made that up. And they're well, are you going to apologize? He's no. Fuck JG. I was oh, come on, man. That's weak. So, anyway, whatever. I met him at the Birmingham lunch, and he was fine. Whatever. He's back. So, on the bunker last week, somebody started a thread. I'm not exactly sure who it was. It was hey, my daughter's going out on her first date. Any suggestions from other bunker dads? Which is a completely fine comment from the bunker. Come on, man. And you're expecting people to say, funny stuff wow, take some bricks and crush his nuts or whatever, And then Son of Seaborn goes, yeah, why don't you go ahead and break her hymen right now so that he won't? And I'm what are you talking about? That is... I'm done. I'm right there. I'm just I'm done. You just need to go. And then to make things even worse, okay, and I should give credit to who the OP was on this, because the OP was hey, man, that was kind of a BS comment, but if you apologize, man, it's all good. And he's no, I'm not apologizing for nothing. It was funny. No, literally nobody thought that was funny, dude. It was just BS. So we're going to go ahead and go on without Son of Seaborn, and we'll just make it work. We'll see if we can carry on without him, okay? It'll be like a little social experiment. Maybe we can make it without him, and maybe we can't. I don't know. Maybe we can just continue to grind on with the other 500 awesome posters we have. The 500 that post the most. We have tons. You guys wouldn't believe how many posters we have that don't post. I'm just saying. Fat Crack jumps in with a super chat. My man. Says, JGT do not know if it has been discussed yet or not, but how confident are you in the wide receiver core? Thanks as always for everything you do. Fat Crack, we love you, bro. You're always here for us. Every single show. All right, so we look at the offensive situation here. Seth Williams at the 9. Kobe Hudson, also J.J. Evans. I think Shedrick is working there too. Shedrick Jackson. I will add him, and I'll tell you what, shit, we'll just add him right now. Oh, I can't do it very easily. I'm going to put that on my list. He should be on there, though. All right, so Cedric Jackson's over there at 9. Kobe Hudson, J.J. Evans. Solid group there. Top heavy. Elijah Stove, Elijah Canyon, Malcolm Johnson. Solid. Slot receiver, 5. Schwartz, really good. Javarius Johnson, not sure. Kayla Newton. Doc Dumpster's a big fan, and I happen to think that he is going to play some. So, I don't know. He's good. Love the stash they have at the 3 with the tight ends, Shanker, Luke Deal, Tyler Fromm. You guys know how I feel about Brandon Frazier. You guys know how I feel about J.J. Pegues. I don't know if you saw J.J. today catching balls in that video we posted. He is a big dude now. He is a big human being. I love the depth they have there. So it's at least we'll put it this way. At worst, it's SEC average. And I think it might be one click above that. Naveen says depth chart is illegal formation. I don't care. I'm just trying to get all the positions in, bro. I'm sorry if your feelings are hurt. Ed D, I'm glad you were able to pick up on that. I was using a reference to the player haters ball when I said, he said, D Lucky, as soon as Jay said, I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and you only, it reminded me of Chappelle's show. It's exactly where I was coming from. I had a chance to see that a couple weeks ago. The player haters ball. Silky Johnson. My man. Silky Johnson and Buck Nasty. Really says, Ruxby, you disappeared for a while. Seems suspicious. Doc Dumpster did offer an explanation for that earlier. He thought that Ruxy Poo was just kind of, worried about his, how he came across on the show. Of course, we love Ruxy. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's up, JG?
Hey, what up, man? I know who this is.
How you been? Yeah, you do. We're flying around up there.
Hell yeah, of course you are.
Do it.
I added you on the bunker today.
Yeah, I seen
Somebody
that.
said, were they flying around out there? And I was like, flying around. He would know.
That's pretty good.
So what's been going on, brother? Aside from making cars, bro.
Yeah, just trying to recover from making cars. Just a rough week, and yeah.
Well, I mean, we go through rough weeks sometimes,
I actually had you on the iPad listening, and I've been mock drafting on my phone because I got 3 drafts tomorrow. So
damn.
Yeah.
3?
Yeah. So 3.
Oh.
So do you do any of that?
I don't know enough about the NFL. I love watching the NFL, but I watch it as like the most casual observer. I don't even really know but about 5% of the players, but I love watching it. I watch Red Zone.
Yeah. I used to be like that, and I mean I've been playing fantasy, I guess, for about 10 years, and I was the same way as you. It's just fun, and it's all the leagues I'm doing is at work, and it's just funny because you talk shit to people, and you have
I love that.
you're just picking players, and you have no control what happens, but still when you win, you talk shit over something that you have no control over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good fun.
And I mean, they're going to play this year, right? I mean, that's pretty much a foregone conclusion, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, we make bets at work. We kind of kept it low this year just in case shit hits the fan, of course.
We've got a NFL game coming up here soon, right?
Oh hell, I don't know.
I think it starts next week.
Okay. Well, I guess that's why we're doing it all tomorrow then.
We got the Texans and the Chiefs playing on Thursday night, so I think that's a real game.
Wow.
I think it is.
Okay. Man, I have. I haven't. I missed the Derby today. I've just been out of touch. I'm like you said. I can't believe Auburn's 3 weeks away.
I know, man. I just don't feel like it's actually football season for whatever reason. I don't know why.
I'm the same way. But I am scared. I am terrified of this first game, Jay. I feel like it's Minnesota 2.0. It's Kentucky. Kentucky's going to come down here fired up, and just the way they're the game's going to be won, down the trenches, of course, and with Kentucky having their offensive line starters coming back,
The
their front
quarterback.
sevens, yes, and you can't rattle the quarterback because you have 20,000 fans. So if I can get through the first game, I think I'll be okay. But I am definitely worried about the first game.
I know there were a couple callers earlier saying they thought it was a trap game, but my thought is, everybody knows Kentucky's a problem. So I don't know if it's really a trap. It's just a tough game.
It depends on how the players' attitude is with it. It being Kentucky, because they're, naturally they might be looking ahead against Georgia.
Fair.
So
It's fair.
Yeah.
It's a concern. And then Kentucky, Georgia, Arkansas, South Carolina, Ole Miss. It's kind of like Georgia's the toughest one of that group. Are you just going to focus on that and forget about the other ones? That is a problem. I agree. Could be.
Right.
And you're bummed out about Connis Miller, obviously, right?
I'm really, yeah. I wanted to touch on that. He obviously he must have said some stuff that because Coach Garner coming from the Pat Dye era, it must have been bad. It must have been really bad. Where he just snapped. Is that what you think? He just snapped and said some words, or was it the way he handled it after practice? Do you think?
No, I think it was pretty much what he did on the practice field. Yeah, I think he was just running his mouth, man. And at some point, you just got to say, dude, if you're going to be lazy on the field and you're going to run your mouth, like, we don't need you here anymore.
Right.
And they've warned him time and time again,
And I hate it for Garner because even as a coach, you naturally you got to think Garner thinks he's naturally he might feel like he failed him. You know what I mean? Like he couldn't get through to him, and he snapped, and now he's parting ways. And do you feel like he thinks that?
Yeah, Rodney's not happy about it. But at the same time, like at some point, when he just keeps dogging it at practice or in games, it's like, are you going to click or not? And if you don't, you need to go somewhere else. And we're going to play Jay Hardy and see if he can click, And I have every reason to believe that Jay Hardy's going to be ready to go. And I think he's going to be a good player this year. If Connis Miller's dogging it, how good is he? Is he better than Jay Hardy? I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. I agree.
My thought.
I agree.
That's just my thought on it.
And what about all right, so the Kentucky game. So I think the only way, I don't think the only way. I think Gus has to be aggressive. He's got to be aggressive, Gus.
Yeah.
But if you say that Chad's got it and he's going to let him run, I'm in full faith of the offense.
I think he's going to do that.
Defense.
He's done that so far. He has completely let Chad handle everything with personnel, with play calling, with the recruiting. He has deferred to Chad's judgment on quarterbacks and tailbacks and linemen. So, I think he's given Chad full autonomy on that offense. I really, really do. I think he's done it, and I think most of us would agree that's a good thing for Auburn.
Yes, it is. Because Kentucky, they play sound football. They don't do anything crazy on defense. They don't do anything crazy on offense. I mean, they want you to make mistakes. So, having said that, I just think, they're going to come in fired up, and I just think the offense needs to be aggressive. But curious, so I've only heard one person say, Barrett Lee, questioning Chad Morris's running game. How do you think he's going to implement his running style, or is he going to go with Gus's running style?
I think on the running game, they're a lot the same. I mean, I think you're looking at a lot of power and counter is what Gus has been running, and it's a lot of what Chad's been running. So I think the differences in those two guys are mostly on the passing game, the way that they use it, and the frequency that they use it. So run game, I think they're very similar. And honestly, I don't find a lot of fault in Auburn's run game in a general sense. I just think it's the play calling gets really weird with Gus sometimes. The LSU game 3 or 4 years ago was a perfect example where they ran up the middle like 16 times in a row. I don't understand that. Those are things that I don't think Chad will do. So I think the run game's okay. And if Chad runs the same stuff Gus does in the run game, I think that's okay. I just think you need to call better plays, be a little more innovative, stay out of ruts, and then use the tight end. And these are the things that I think Chad can fix,
Okay.
That's my thought.
It's good. Good stuff.
So we won't. It's pretty big. No doubt.
And let's see what else. God, there's so much I want to talk about, but I'm about wasted.
Now, have you been drinking tonight, bro?
Oh yeah, I'm margarita on the rocks. Been trying to. I missed the brain drain 2 weeks ago. Me and the wife, she needed a getaway, and we live in Hoover, but we ended up going to Huntsville. And I know that sounds crazy, like a getaway weekend in Huntsville, but we just didn't want to go. We thought about Atlanta and Nashville, but stuff going on, like we didn't know what would be open, what would be closed. So we've been to Bridge Street before in Huntsville, and we know it's kind of open mall, or open shopping mall. And so we stayed at the Westin, and we were at the bar there, and we were drinking margarita on the rocks, and we had like 7 of them, $200. $200. So anyways,
wow.
I know that might not be like for. I know the guys were probably chatting. Well, that ain't shit. But I was. But anyways, I was just like, holy.
Did you get what you were aiming for?
What?
Did you get what you were aiming for there?
Well, we were doing double. We were doing double Patron and double Don. Well, once you run out of the Patron, we stuck with Don Julio. So we were doing doubles, but it was so clean. Like it was, she was using, I think, organic mix. So I bought that tonight, and so that's what I'm trying to do, because my original recipe has sweet and sour mix and a lot of triple sec.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just too sugary. So those that we were drinking. I mean, they tasted clean. I mean, they were just clean, not a lot of sugar in them. So that's what I'm trying to do, and I've almost got it. So
all right. It sounds like you've learned something flying around. I mean, you've got a new weapon.
Yeah, well, no, tequila's. Oh, I did go today. I went to the ABC store. I got some Double Oak Woodford.
That's good.
Is it?
Yeah, of course.
So I know you don't like the original. So you don't like the original. So you. But I'm
not a big Woodford Reserve fan myself, but it's a good bourbon. It's a quality product.
Didn't you drink the Double Oak?
I did. I mean, no, not lately, because I bought it and I didn't love it, but Woodford Reserve is it's a quality product. Look, man,
Okay.
at some point, like bourbon is kind of like, what do you want in a bourbon? You know, some
Right,
people
it's
like
your
it more
palate.
fruity. Some people like it more wood, like a wood taste. There's a lot of different things you can like in a bourbon, and they're all good.
Yeah. It's just whatever your palate is, huh?
Yeah, that's my opinion. But we are going to put together a beginner bourbon guide. I
Yes.
don't think
Oh,
you need it. I'm just saying there might be some people who do need it.
No, when I heard that, I was just like, oh man, that would be fantastic.
Okay, well, we'll continue to work on it though. AU Masters and me, maybe AU Taxman jump in, get some of that to going.
Sounds good.
All right, flying around. Appreciate you calling in, brother man.
All right, brother.
You be good.
You too, man.
See you, bro. Bye. There he goes, flying around. Hey, I got somebody here who wants to say what's up. Come here, bud. Maverick wants to say hello to you guys. He's being shy. He doesn't want to come hang out with you guys. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. See, Jake G says he needs that bourbon guy. We need to work on that. Hey, look what I got here. Oh, look at you, Big Daddy. Look at there. Who is that? Is that Maverick? When you want to say hello to the guys and the gals? Hey, buddy. What do you want to say to him? What do you want to say? You want to say what's up? Hey, want to take a call? Let's take a call. Hey, caller, welcome to the show. Caller, welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's happening, JG?
Hey, what's up, bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I got my pug with me right now. He wants to say what's up.
What's up, man?
All right, he's actually going to go right now. Well, what's been going on with you,
more
D-Lucky?
love. I get more love from Mav than I do from flying around. Comes all the way to Huntsville. I don't get a shout out. I don't get a text. Nothing.
Nothing at all, man. I thought flying around would definitely at least give you a holler up there or something, man.
I mean, I like margaritas. Shit.
Of course you do.
I mean, you know.
What's been up, man? You been good?
Yeah, things are good on this end. Everybody's still safe, so you know, can't knock that.
Yeah, that's
Just,
the only thing that matters.
Staying in.
It's the only thing that matters these days. I have not listened to a lot of Tony since John Thompson died, so I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, that was this is really crazy. It's one of those things that happens. Tony actually led me. Thompson used to have a local radio show in D.C. and because I was listening to Tony's show before it, I just started listening to Thompson years ago, and just had an even more profound appreciation for him when he wasn't even talking about basketball. I mean, he just talked about football stuff, and it just his perspective on stuff was really really cool. So he will definitely be missed.
I just didn't think. Well, so listen to Tony and Wilbon talk about it, man. They changed my mind about him a little bit, but I mean, he was so hard on reporters, man. It was just like I hated him when I started because just knowing that he was so hard on reporters made me dislike him because I was a young reporter myself, and I was like, why do coaches have to be dicks to reporters? I don't really get that.
Yeah, I think with him, he was in a very special circumstance.
True.
And he was so much of a protector of his players that if anybody was going to be the bad guy, it was absolutely going to be him. And he was also going to make sure that nobody could get to them unless he trusted you to get to them.
True.
So he made that as hard as possible for reporters. And, you know, once you got in and he trusted you, you know, you were good. And he'd let you go and talk to the kids, whatever. But you had to be able to prove to him that you were in it for the right reasons. And a lot of folks made that hurdle.
I watched for the second time the Iverson biopic, I guess, on Showtime last night, and he had a lot of really. First of all, I love Allen Iverson; he's my favorite player, and to hear him say so many nice things about John Thompson, that changes my mind about him too. He said he was like a second father to him at a time in his life when nobody cared about Iverson. John Thompson did, and took really good care of him at Georgetown, and I mean that's a big thing. When Allen Iverson tells me the guy's a good guy, I trust him on that.
Absolutely, and Will Bond talked about it a little bit on Tony's show, but I heard the story of Rayford, the drug kingpin in D.C.
Yeah.
Where basically, Thompson was like, I'm going to go find this guy. And he ended up not finding him, but he sent out word that he wanted to talk to the guy. And the guy came to his office, and he basically told him to stay the F away from his players.
From Alonzo Mourning, yeah.
Yeah, and Thompson was enough of a boss that the drug kingpin of D.C., respected him enough to stay away from his players from that point. He never had any other issues with that dude and any of his players from that point forward. So, to me, that's just indicative of what kind of dude, Thompson really was.
That tells you right there.
He'll absolutely be.
That tells you the kind of pull that John Thompson had in D.C., you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
As far as this Auburn football team, D. Lucky, we've been talking a lot about Connis Miller. We've been talking about the situation at tailback. Anything really pique your interest there?
Connis, just a disappointment. I mean, sad story. Him coming out of school and his dad passing. I thought he was in the best possible spot to have someone kind of guide him from that point forward. And for whatever reason, he didn't take to it. Rodney's always going to be Rodney. Like you said earlier, some folks take to him pretty easily. Some folks, they buck. But if they eventually just listen and take heed, it normally works out for him. So sad that it didn't work out for him here. Hopefully, his next stop proves to be a little bit better for him. Maybe he'll look back and it'll make a difference. So, I don't think it'll be a big loss, to be honest. I think he's going to be a Jag. So it was depth. We're not going to have any of those games where we're going to need somebody to play 40 snaps, to wind out the clock against Alcorn State. So not too worried about that part. Short of that, I mean, he hasn't done anything on the field that I feel like, we're going to miss a ton of.
It's fair.
What else? On the offensive side, great news that Chad is appearing to, have some autonomy. It's the exact scenario that we've talked about would be ideal for Gus, and it sounds like everything is pointing in the right direction for that, and I think it's going to be huge if that's the case. I just think Gus gets so locked in on his roles. Somebody talked about it in the chat earlier, and he just puts people into his roles as opposed to identifying what people do really well and saying, okay, we're going to exploit these things because these kids do them really well. And it's just, just being able to self-scout. That's the other part that frustrates me with Gus is like, we know who's going to get the ball in this play. Everyone knows who's going to get the ball in this play. We can't switch it up once and not send the kid on the field to run this play only.
Yeah.
I mean, just that little bit of self-scouting. It's like, you can hear Gus talking to himself in his head. If I put him on the field, they'll think he's running something else, so we'll go ahead and run it anyway.
We'll just run it anyway.
It's just you could just hear the wheels turning as he's outsmarting himself on the sidelines, coming up with the stuff.
They'll never think Devin Barnett's going to run a wheel out here.
Yeah, we read it 5 times in a row. They'll never expect it the 6th time. So
man.
I think that part will help. I think there'll be stuff that we'll be able to do, some base stuff that we've kind of always done that will be different in appearance. I think that's going to pay off, especially with a tough game to start, and I think it's going to be even bigger with Georgia for game 2.
I know, man.
Especially with them having their quarterback's not even cleared for contact, and kind of having I think Nick's has got a chance to build on stuff that we've already had. So I think we're in a really good spot, and not having had a spring to have as much carryover between Chad's offense and Gus's offense.
I'm a big fan of Bo Nix now. You're not a hater. I'm not saying that, but I'm a big fan of his.
No.
I think he can be really good.
I'm more optimistic than my boy Doc as far as Bo goes. So I think Bo's going to be just fine when the time comes. So I'm not worried about that at all.
Word.
I was watching that 2013 SEC championship earlier today, and I just look at the talent on the field, and it's just amazing to me. I mean, Nick Marshall, of course, is next level, but that defense, man. Wow. I mean, we talk about the safeties that we have now and not being able to cover. But you're talking about, Ryan Smith and Ryan Clark. And I mean, I think we've come a long way. I'll take Smoke Monday in that battle. He might not be the greatest, in pass coverage, but I like his odds.
He's going to fight, man. He's going to fight.
he's gonna fight, and in the run game, he's absolutely gonna come up and stick somebody. So he at least gives you something. I don't really know what those two guys gave us at all when they were playing, but that's what we had then. So I'm more comfortable with this squad than looking back on that team. It's like, man, how do we get here?
They got a pretty good team. If they can get through Georgia and Kentucky, they've got a pretty good shot at being undefeated going into LSU.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the schedule sets up really well for us to make it down the stretch. Like I said, I'm projecting 11-0 right now. Till I see otherwise.
Damn, that's really positive.
11-0, baby. 11-0.
I like that optimism, though, man.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do what we can until they drop one, upsets me. But you'll hear about it on the Brain Drain for sure.
Of course, that's what we do here.
Absolutely.
All right, D Lucky.
Man, I want to give
go ahead, please,
I want to give a shout out to. I normally don't have a lot of positivity for Herb Street, but the emotion he showed on today's show was impressive to me. Some seemingly heartfelt opinions about racial relations in the world today. So hopefully that hit a couple of people that wouldn't have otherwise paused for a second and listened. He spoke some very true words. Hopefully things will get better. Hopefully people will just open their ears and listen before they judge or respond. That's all we can ask, and hopefully we can all make it a little bit better tomorrow than it is today.
He's always struck me as a guy who's pretty authentic, man. So when I see that, I listen for sure.
Absolutely.
All right,
well, brother, I appreciate you doing the show as always.
No, I appreciate you calling in, man. We couldn't do it without you.
Well, I love it, man. I'm looking forward to the season.
All right, bro. We'll see you next week.
All right. Stay safe, man. Peace.
See you, man. There he goes. Give D Lucky a triangle for that one. It's a great call. And that's what D Lucky does. Administrative assistant is in the headquarters tonight in the flesh right here. Although she was upset earlier when I asked her she could help me with my cup a little bit. Why did you get upset about that? Well, I mean, I got to drink this. I can't sit around. I can't afford to wait. With what? I'm going to sell this bottle for $80. Okay, maybe I'm not. Anyway, administrative assistant is here, and she's telling me she thinks it's about time to go. And I feel like once we've had, D Lucky call in after the third hour, I feel like we're kind of, we've done what we need to do. I mean, D Lucky is usually the guy who ushers in the third hour with us. And I mean, we could never leave without doing the gals we adore. I mean, oh God, here we go. Thank goodness we get to go with some of these pictures we did last week. Alpha Tiger was our all-star last week because he got us looking at some of these pics that I didn't even know existed. I don't even know who these girls are. I don't know who any of these girls are, but they're nice. And this gal right here, goodness gracious, Alpha, you could come up with that. You came up with that last week, and I was amazed. It's incredible. Let's see. We'll just kind of work our way through here. The pictures that were passed along last week. Lori Laughlin and her daughter, although they're kind of fakers. Amanda Coates, you guys don't even know who that is, but that's a girl that I liked when I was younger. Carlene Bassett. Y'all don't even know who that is. Girl I liked when I was younger. Jennifer Connelly, from the Rocketeer. And also a movie that came out in 1990 called Opportunity Knocks. Margot Robbie. She's lovely. Incredible. You guys have all done incredible stuff. That's one of Ruxpin's gals that he thinks is so hot. Good for him. Lisa Booth. Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about. You're talking about that gal from the earlier. Yeah. Lisa Booth. Incredible. Man, you guys really know what you're talking about. It seems like you guys know what you're talking about with this stuff. We got a request for Roz. Let me see if I can find her here. Some of these kind of tough for me to find them over here. We've talked about so many as we've gone along. There you go. There's Roz doing her thing. Pocket Watch says, is Lori Laughlin, a.k.a. Aunt Becky, reported to prison yet? I don't know that. That's a good question. I mean, I don't Can we even like D Lucky more than we already do? I mean, he calls in. He's so positive. He's very patient and just a fun dude to have in the bunker and also on the show. Alpha Tiger says he's not calling in tonight. That's okay, man. We've had you on the show so many times. Don't feel like you have to call in, and we never want that. Abby Hornacek, which kind of weirds me out because her dad is like somebody I followed when he was in the NBA. Tommy Lahren, who I think is dating someone of note now. I'm not sure who it was. And based on, like, somebody on Facebook was bitching about this, one of my friends. And they were phrasing it in a way that, can you believe he would be dating Tommy? Yeah, I was like, yeah, I can believe that. Yeah. I don't know who it was, though. You guys will probably know who it is. Let's see. Lila Garrity. I don't know who that is. You got to tell me. This is a fictional character portrayed by Minka Kelly in the Friday Night Lights TV series. I have seen Friday Night Lights, but I don't remember Friday Night Lights. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I can get that. We can do that. Of course. There you go. That's who you're looking for, Alpha. I mean, she's in character at that point. She's not actually a cheerleader. That's her in Friday Night Lights. Naveen says Jay Cutler. That's exactly who it was. Thank you. That's exactly who it was. Jay Cutler, Tommy Lahren, and I'm supposed to be like, can you believe he would date her? I'm like, no, I can totally believe that. I mean, of course. And then Jill Arrington in the prime spot as always. I mean, of course. And I just can't really go through. We can't do a show without this chick. She's hottie. And that girl too. Those girls are winners in part. That's three solids right then. I think any of those three is a winner. One man's opinion. All right, so we're probably gonna wrap it up about there. We've been going more than 3 hours. I feel like we've gotten the things done that we wanted to get done. There's no doubt. We got some great calls tonight from Power Man. Kicked us off early. Bo was great. Deezer, Doc Dumpsta, Flying Around. D Lucky, of course. Melee says, JGT seems totally unaffected by the barrel proof. Must have consumed a gallon of water also. Yes, it is important to stay hydrated, guys. But I knew I had to be careful. I mean, it's 130 proof. You got to be careful. We spent a lot of time talking about Connis Miller. Depth at defensive line. Also, shout out to all of our peoples who jumped in with Super Chats tonight. Crocodile starts us off like right as we started. Like we hadn't even hardly started the show and he was on us. Crocodile, Stoop Up twice. Sterling at least twice. Web W twice. Gators, AU Taxman. Flying around twice. I knew that. Of course I did. Really? Fat Crack. Unbelievable, man. You guys are just nuts. Absolutely mad lads. Chaz Music jumped in as well. Dang, Chaz. I'm bothered that I missed that. How did I miss that? I'm sorry, bro. I shouldn't have. Right here, of course. Oh, look at you mugging right here with Bruce Pearl. BP. JGMF and Tate. Sorry so late. Chaz, of course, man. You're Gucci, bro. No problem. Ed D, appreciate the updates, the score updates throughout the night on the Memphis-Arkansas State game. Looks like the Memphis Tigers up 13 in the fourth quarter, feeling pretty good. Ed D says, I'll battle any color, any race. You beating me is like Billy Crystal playing Scarface. I can't see it. I'm blind to the eye. I came up in your face. Oops, pow. Surprise. Oh. And the guy's like, ooh. Little Chappelle show for you. Let's see. Melee says, will brain drains fire up an hour or so after games? I don't even know if we're going to go an hour. I would hope that brain drains would fire up like in a perfect world, we would go 30 minutes after the game. I feel like we need to have Gus go on his presser. So I would think that would be 20 minutes after the game, 25 minutes, and then he goes for 5 or 10 minutes, and then we go live. I am not allowed, due to covenants in place with the Auburn Network, I'm not allowed to play Gus's press conference on here. But as soon as that's over, I would like to go right then. And we've got, BMAT and Nate King to provide the coverage from the game. And then obviously that will be coverage here on the Brain Drain, but it will be kind of different. Jake says, in-game Brain Drain. Probably not. And the only reason is because I feel like it would be delayed. Because what you guys are actually seeing here on the show, like the minute you guys see it on YouTube or whatever, like that's 30 seconds behind what I'm actually doing here from the headquarters. So I don't know if that would translate well, because you would be watching on TV and I would be behind, and it would just kind of be weird. Alpha Tiger says, can you stream Gus's presser on Brain Drain so chat open during presser? I mean, I'm going to have to figure that out. Because at that point, it's going to be a Zoom call, and I don't understand how the Auburn Network is going to have dominion over a Zoom call. That seems kind of weird. So we may be able to actually do that. And if it is a Zoom call, I will definitely be able to pipe in video here, or audio. So these are good questions, Jake, and also Alpha Tiger, so thank you for pushing me there. D. Lucky suggests that we do Brain Drain at the start of the fourth quarter so we can scream and yell virtually. That's not a bad idea either. Chaz Music says, how about a halftime Brain Drain? I don't know. Pocket Watch says it definitely would not translate well. See what I'm saying? I don't want to do like the thing that Coach Crow did back in the day where they kind of do a play-by-play. Like, I don't want to do that. But we're going to we're going to figure something out. It ain't going to be like, we'll come online 2 hours later. Like, we're not going to do that. So anyway, thank you guys. Great show. 3 hours and 22 minutes officially. We had some great callers, great super chatters. We love you guys. We only have this show that works as well as it does now because of you guys. We have a stable platform because of you guys, and I am so grateful. Seriously. All I want to do is do a good show, and I feel like we do that now that things work. So we'll peace out right then. Canoe Man says, how about a timeout Brain Drain? All right, we're going to wrap it up there, guys. You guys be good. We'll do I got a G-Pits tomorrow, I think we're doing with Gabe and Neil. And then we're going to do the rundown on Tuesday, and then we'll be back with you guys on our Brain Drain next Saturday. And at that point, it'll only be 2 weeks to kick off. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. All right, until then, keep your feet on the ground. Keep reaching for the stars. Y'all be good. Peace.